A moment's thought before dialing can make a world of difference for you and others. Think first, then dial.
Come to Cabaret. Musical theatre does not get better than this. A sexy, dazzling and mesmerising production, brilliantly reinvented by Oscar-winning director Sam Mendes. Are you ready? Be seduced by Cabaret at the Festival Theatre from June 17. Final tickets on sale now at Bass.
Saturday the 12th of July is the date for the biggest night on the Crows social calendar, the Gala Auction and Dinner Dance. To be held at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, the night will feature some great items up for grabs in a major and silent auction, wine wall and great entertainment by Jungle Juice. As always, Crows players will be there as guests enjoy a 3-course meal, West End beers, Hardy Wine Company wines and Coca-Cola soft drinks. Tickets are $85 each and can be bought direct from the club by calling 8440 6666. That number again, 8440 6666. Remember that sound. Thanks once again to the Overland for sponsoring today's match. And remember to keep wearing your Overland visors for your chance to win another great prize at quarter time and the big one at 3/4 time today. Enjoy today's match between the Adelaide Crows and Melbourne.
Welcome back. The Adelaide Crows, Mark Stevens joining me up here for a bit of a chat. Mark's been out injured, but senior-old Jace Kelly from Whyalla. And David Neitz winning the toss there for the Demons and will be kicking to the Advertiser Sunday Mail Super Screen end of AAMI Stadium.
If you want in-depth footy coverage written by the experts, nothing matches the Advertiser. Except, of course, all the news and analysis in the Sunday Mail. The Advertiser and Sunday Mail. No one gets you closer to the footy action.
And we just take a look at the centre lines for both sides. Mark Rasciuto named in the middle there for the Adelaide Crows, along with Godfrey for the Demons. Begley and Gallagher named on the wings for the Crows as we move down to the half-back lines. Nigel Smart named there on a half-back flank along with Jason Tawney. And we move along to the full-back line. Nathan Bassett there, a key player there at full-back, and Benny Hart joining him in a back pocket along with Chris Massey for today's game against the Melbourne Demons. And Crows fans, time to get right behind the Adelaide side as the first quarter is about to get underway here at AAMI Stadium.
Going to the forward zone for the Demons. Nigel Smart is standing alongside of David Neitz, which was one of the talking points as well. The crowd building up beautifully. We'll probably get to around about the 45,000 mark. Massey on green. Nicholson alongside of Perry. Demons to the left, Crows to the right. Underway around Australia, and Biglands and Jamar, a lot to look forward to in that battle. Bickley trying to shovel it forward. Now Gallagher, he's tied up by Thompson, a high tackle, the first free kick of the game, going the Crows' way. We'll get Russ to keep an eye on some of those other matchups shortly, but no surprise with Smart taking Neitz. Gallagher towards the wing. Tawney wrestled out of it there by Thompson, who's starting well, be keen to play well here. Knows a bit about South Australian footy, coming from the Port Magpies originally. Now Rasciuto towards centre half forward, and Green chopping back in front of Henschel.
It looks as though Godfrey is running for Rasciuto, or maybe even Bickley at this stage.
Bizzle got the handball over towards... Well, Bizzle got the kick forward. Now it's on the outer side. They go forward through Walsh. Walsh inside 50 for the first time. Needs a diving attempt. Well, Nigel Smart certainly picked him up, and he'll go across ground now. Has a loose player there in Hart. Decides to go over the head of that player, and looking there for Tawney. Tawney might be on Johnston. We'll have a look at that. Clever little flick up there towards Rasciuto. Sun's pretty bad here, and underneath it was Begley. Begley went without of it, and Walsh took him out. Now he picks up the football. Intercepting it there is Johnston. Thrown to the ground, and umpire blows the whistle, and we'll have a bounce.
The interesting aspect so far of this game, every tackle that's been laid, I know it's only early days, but there's always been 2 or 3 Melbourne jumpers around the ball, which is a good sign.
We had a look at them in the rooms before the game, Russ, and there was a good bond about them today, as though they're really going to give a pretty good account for themselves. Now, the Crows have won a free kick. Michael Avon with Justin Schmidt and Hayden Kennedy, the umpires, and Rasciuto's going to win it. Has a loose man in the middle and hurries it to him. That's Gallagher. This is a good build-up. Has Tawney in support. Is going to go longer towards the pocket. It's a pretty good kick for Perry. We've got a few metres on Nicholson, and he'll have the first shot at goal for the afternoon.
You just can't afford to give a forward a couple of metres start, because if the ball coming in is low and direct like that, it's pretty hard to stop.
Here's that free kick again. Rasciuto caught high. A little bit of an undisciplined act by Godfrey, and then Gallagher, good vision, delivering to the lead of Perry, who's kicked just the 9 goals this season from his 10 matches. 3 of those in the opening round against the Dockers. From the outer side of the ground, we're behind the kick, and it's good enough. Crows get the opening goal. It's a positive start for them.
It is a positive start because, as I mentioned before, the Melbourne boys are really throwing themselves at the footy, and particularly the bloke with the footy, and it is a good start. You really like to get on the scoreboard early, build on that type of thing. It's great for the Crows.
So, Perry with his 10th goal of the season, and Gallagher setting that up nicely, the smallest player on the ground. Well, it took just under 3 minutes. Adelaide on the board. And a big job for Rhett Biglands today against the 2 tools for Melbourne in Jamar and Jolly. Biglands Well, he went late. Jamar used his leg beautifully. At ground level, they're both having a crack at it. It's a 50-50 ball. Robertson got it out. Now back towards Hart. Hart in turn to Rashudo. Kicks it up to centre half forward. Underneath it was Begley. Good tackle applied there. That was on Williams. Umpire blows the whistle. Crowd appreciates that. We'll have another bounce, about 65 out.
Positive signs for the Crows. I think that's Bickley's third or fourth possession so far, and that's a great start for him.
Begley's been good since coming across from St Kilda and making his debut a few weeks ago. Rashudo in there, the 5-time All-Australian, tried to get it to Stengline. Crows happy to have him back. Rashudo again, just on 50. Kicks it up towards the head of the square. Players fly, it's close. In there was Henschel off the ground. Perry quickly second.
How important the player is for the side. I'm sure that's his 5th or 6th possession in only 4 or 5 minutes, and he once again was responsible for getting that ball forward down to Perry to score his second goal.
What a start for the Adelaide Crows. Ominous signs indeed for the Demons. Chris Lamb with something to think about early. Gone not yet 5 minutes, and already it's all Adelaide. Biglands and Jamar back in the centre. Neither on the first attempt. Stengline goes without it. This is Uze. Shovels it back for Bizzle. Out wide in front of Walsh, who can run onto this. Has Johnston in support to provide the shepherd or take the hand pass. He thought about either. Walsh goes down the line towards half forward. Sprawling effort from Miller unsuccessful, and now Edwards can set the Crows up from half back. Kicks to a 1-on-2 on the outer wing. Welsh had to go the spoil. Johnston. Good recovery. Jamar has to be quick. High ball without really checking his options. Edwards, though, had to wait underneath it. Heffernan the knock-on. Free kick for a throw, and it will go to the Crows' way on half back.
Ben Hart, what a tremendous player he's been for the Adelaide Football Club. Always cool in a crisis. Over towards Massey, the former Carlton player, puts it out for Stengline. Some have touted this man as a future captain of the club. Over to Smart, the 34-year-old, the oldest player out there at AAMI Stadium today. And a free kick's been picked out, and it will go the way of Ken McGregor. Plays on quickly to Rashudo, puts it out towards the right forward pocket. Perry was the target again, and the D's happy to take that one over the boundary line.
Something's got to be done about Rashudo. That's now, I think, his 6th or 7th touch very early on the game. So only been going 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, Nicholson looks like he's lined up on McGregor. Lamb is back on Perry, as we mentioned. And Biglan's opposed to Jamar. Throw in that right forward pocket. Biglan's used his strength, got it down. Johnston was there, trying to steal it was Laddams. He's wrapped up in a tackle, and we'll have a bounce down about 40 metres out. Conditions pretty good. Had a lot of rain earlier this morning. Good game of football. Adelaide desperate to win, to stay in touch with the top 4, and the D's, well, they're just desperate to have a win. Been a pretty lean years thus far. Biglan's won the tap. It was a nice one out to the magic man in McLeod. He went for goal. Round it goes, close to the boundary line and taken over the line. And Russell, I think he did go for goal then. He didn't try and centre that one.
No, I think you did right, Kim. I think he had a shot at, look, why wouldn't he? Such a talented player. I mean, you've got Matthew Whelan actually running with McLeod. He's going to have a very busy afternoon.
He has got the licence. Boundary throw in, Crows in attack. McLeod being harassed that time by Whelan. Godfrey. Welsh to try and tie it in. Bizzle. Jamar. Risky. Leoncelli. Caught. Crows. Chance. Welsh. Biglands. Couldn't quite control it. Does well to Perry from McGregor. Kicked smothered well by the Demon defence. Holding up under enormous pressure early. And Johnston finds the boundary line for a throw in. Well, they're under siege right now, the Demon defence.
The Crows are really putting some pressure on the boys, and this is where they're very, very dangerous here in this situation. Inside 50, the Crows are very dangerous.
Jamar works his way in front. Takes it now, does well. Gets the clearing kick. It's a momentary relief for the defence. Tawney tumbling backwards on the logo. Takes the mark and they'll bang it forward once more. Short pass effective for Bassett. All bar 2 players in Adelaide's attacking half. Edwards against the breeze, 50 out. Stops. High ball to the top of the square. Perry getting back. Ball knocked down. Gallagher goes without it. Still a chance, Gallagher. Williams. Nicholson. Gee, they're under enormous pressure. Rashudo charging through. Can the Demon defence withstand this? Heffernan to Williams. and they'll find some more momentary relief as they force a boundary throw in. But boy, Russell, this is not good signs for the Demons.
It's not. It's only very early days though, but they would have been very disappointed with their performance last week, Crows, being beaten by Hawthorn, and they've really come out here and making a statement at this particular stage, particularly their senior players.
The D said they'd play a more running and flowing game, but gee, they're flooding back at the moment because they are under enormous pressure. Leoncelli at the bottom of the pack, wrapped up in a tackle by Rashudo and Edwards and thrown to the ground. Umpire blows the whistle, will have a ball up.
What they have to do is not panic, the Melbourne boys. They've just got to become accountable, man up, all over the ground, and just weather this storm, because at this particular stage it is a storm.
Just over 13 minutes remaining in the first term here at AAMI Stadium. Biglan's won the tap, went down to Leoncelli. Little 15-metre kick along the ground. McLeod, quick but not quick enough. Couldn't get the handle out, but he was held when not in possession. Looks like Whelan's got the job of running with McLeod. McLeod looking to change tack. He puts it in the middle of the ground. Bassett has drifted down again. Bassett opposed to Miller. Miller playing up forward. Tawney, who turns 26 tomorrow, kicks it inside 50. Perry all by himself in the side, as he's affectionately known, takes a strong mark. And incredibly, he'll be lining up for his third. He's almost got a patent on the old helicopter kicks when he shoots for goal.
Just getting back to that point we mentioned before, it's just so important when the Crows have got the footy. They're so deadly, particularly a bloke like McLeod. When he's got the footy, got a free kick. The Adelaide boys just took up the ground, and look, you just got to run with them and put enormous pressure on them, because if you don't, and as we see here, Perry's lining up for his third goal.
Adelaide have kicked 2 straight, courtesy of Ian Perry. Had a quiet one last week against the Hawks when Adelaide went down by 5 points. He was very good against Geelong the week before that. He's kicking from about 40 metres out, very deliberate, if not stilted approach, but he's put it through the middle and he's kicked his third.
As we've already mentioned, the Crows are playing very proactive footy, really running the ball well out of defence. The senior boys are getting plenty of the footy, and the Melbourne fellas have just got to really man up and just weather this storm, because at the moment they are playing reactive footy and they're just allowing their opponents to run free with the footy.
Three goals for Ian Perry from 4 touches so far. Mark Rashudo carving them up already. 8 possessions. Crows off to a flyer after 11 minutes. Back in the centre, Jamar and Biglan's. Johnston overruns it. Just everywhere Adelaide. Begley this time. Gallagher shovels it out wide. There's a free kick for in the back, and a late advantage called by umpire Schmidt. He's going to let him go. Oh, Edwards doesn't know. Well, he perhaps could have called it back in the end, because Edwards was oblivious to the advantage. It's play on anyway. He had a lot of space, but a hurried kick forward is marked by Bizzle of Melbourne. Now Thompson. Look at that. They're under all sorts of pressure, the Demons here. Williams. Long ball to the outer wing. Crows have 3-on-1. And as if this man needs a head start for getting the footing. Andrew McLeod has it kicked to him. He's got a loose man short, Bickley. Hate to say it, Demon fans back in Melbourne, nothing's changed from last week. Rashudo possession number 9 to full forward. Perry again! He's going to line up for number 4. And it's like Queen's Birthday Monday, 5 o'clock, Russell, has just rolled into AAMI Stadium, Adelaide, 2 o'clock the next Sunday.
Well, the Crows are playing for big stakes. They want to keep in touch with that top 4 position. And as I mentioned before, they have come out here to play. And the pleasing fact is all their senior blokes are really standing up and working exceptionally hard. We saw the tone was set very early when Rashudo just threw himself, tried to barge through about 6 blokes. It's been great footy to watch so far.
Perry's kicked 15 goals in the last year and a half. This for his 4th in the opening quarter. Left foot kick. Close. Good enough. Another one. Ian Perry 4. Everybody else, nothing. Here's Wayne Schwass, boundary side. We'll check the communication with Wayne shortly. Hard to hear us above the roar of the members here.
Wayne was on the ball, but no microphone.
And what a start for Ian Perry.
A change must be made. Miller must come down to play on Perry. Put Lamb, try him up the forward line, do something. But at this particular stage, it's just a snowballing effect. And look, to Lamb's credit, he hasn't been that far away. It's just that Perry's hands have been very good.
Free kick back at the centre bounce, and it's been taken now by Thompson. Thompson puts his team inside 50, and I tell you what, they need to get in there because they haven't looked like scoring at this stage. Good pressure by Massey, and the ball works its way over the boundary line in advance of Miller.
Well, Russ, you've got to make the move on Perry. You've got it. 4 goals in 13 minutes.
I would be inclined to let it go. It's just not all his fault. The on-ball's got to start getting a touch of 2 for the Demons.
Well, Neil Danaher on the phone. We'll keep an eye on that. The ball tapped down to Whelan, taken by Thompson. Quick feed out towards Johnston. He needs to find a little bit of it. Short pass. Intercepting there was McLeod. Now the loose ball picked up there by Miller. He was dispossessed. 50-50 ball. Bickley went through like a truck. Umpire blows the whistle, and he's picked out a free kick. High tackle against Bickley. Well, they got off to a very quick start against Hawthorn last week. They always get off to a fly, but if there is a criticism of Adelaide, they don't seem to maintain it, Russell.
You can sense that intensity that they ran out, just the steel in their eyes. But they're playing for a huge prize here this afternoon. And they knew Melbourne, at this particular stage, we haven't seen it, but they knew Melbourne were going to come out and throw everything at them because of...
Well, Thompson's kicked 3 goals for the season. He was the club's best-year, first-year player in 2001. He's lining up from about 48 metres out, but he's put it across the face of goal. Didn't even get the distance. Jamar went up high. Green was there. Jamar, the big fella, working hard back in his home state. Now picking it up smart. Couldn't control it. Leoncelli thrown to the ground. Well, they've got on the board. He put a handball over the line for a point. So Melbourne 1 point. Adelaide 4 straight goals, all courtesy of Ian Perry. And we are about 3/4 way through this first term here at AAMI Stadium.
And it's not looking at all good for the visitors. Rashudo goes short, Smart in the back pocket. Well, a semblance of a zone structure there from Melbourne following the kick in, but to be honest, it was appalling. Edwards for Smart, long to half forward. It's Welsh in front, couldn't get it. McGregor, too quick was Welsh there. Still paddling it on. Begley didn't give up. Walsh, they need that sort of intensity, the Demons. McGregor's caught, high tackle, free kick. Advantage play on Knight will come back.
Just apologies there. We are having a few problems with Clinton's microphone at the moment, so stay with us as Adelaide go into attack through McGregor. Puts it to the head of the square. Henshaw was underneath it. Ball crashing through was taken by Bizzle. Quick feed over to Uze. Now Heffernan. Back to Uze. The D starting to get something happening here, and they need to. 3 against 1 on the outer side, though. McGregor stood his ground. Then he worked hard at ground level to get it out to Rashudo. He's been in super form. That's his 10th disposal. Stenglein over the top of it. Now taken by Uze again. To Thompson, to Walsh, the former West Adelaide player. Good vision. And now the run provided there by Williams. Not sure where to go. Has a player short. Leoncelli ignored that. Went to Whelan. Whelan back to Williams. About 75 out. He kicks it long. Underneath it. Trying to take the mark was Neat. In fact, it's Nicholson now back there. But the mark's been taken by Nigel Smart. So Smart brings it back to the members' side where Begley's on his Pat Malone. Not a lot of movement or options after that, so he has to go infield. And a good lead provided there by Scotty Welsh, who's had a horror run with injuries this season. Welsh to the outer side where the Crows have a nest of players out there. Hart providing good support for Edwards. Now goes back inside, lifts the lance, kicks it long. Bigland's the target. Big fella got up high, taking it off the deck. There was Gallagher, and he's just offline, the little fella. 4-1 to 1 point. Let's go down to Wayne Schwass.
Mark Bickley has just come off. He's been replaced by Robert Shirley, who is getting matched up by Andrew Leoncelli. Matthew Whelan, I can confirm, is running with Andrew McLeod, and Simon Godfrey's running with Mark Rashudo.
So apologies again for the audio problems we're having. Clinton Grivis will be back with us shortly. Walsh brings it back in. It's a nice re-entry. Better than their efforts against Collingwood last week, where they really struggled. 50 metres there. The ball was tapped out of Uze's hand. Crow's not happy with that one, Russ. But now Melbourne need to capitalise. And we've lost Russell as well. I'm on my Pat Malone.
Like last week.
Okay, the ball comes into Godfrey. Demons trying to set something up. Nicholson, the target, got hands to the footy. At ground level there was Tyson Edwards. Did it beautifully. Always has plenty of time, this player. It's a wobbly old kick, though. Stenglein tried to take it. Bassett was taken out of it. Williams in there. Intercepted by Burton. The crowd appreciated that. Kicks around his body. Test of courage. Beautiful take by Walsh. That was Shirley running back into the traffic. Walsh the half volley to Leoncelli. Did well. He's a good player. So too Heffernan. That's a lovely pass, and he spotted up a teammate in Cameron Bruce. Runner-up in the best and fairest last year for the D's, and that's a magnificent disposal to find Brad Green. And surely if the D's are to get one, they'll bang this one through. Brad Green has enjoyed a couple of pretty good seasons. He's kicked 18 goals this year. He's one of the most accurate kicks in the game. He's lining up from about 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle, and the crowd giving him no assistance whatsoever. Brad Green on the left has split the centre. The D's get there first. Well, let's go down to the boundary now in Schwatter. The crowd's starting to really pump up Adelaide.
Well, and a notice to everyone in the crowd, there's a maroon Commodore VTF 225 is currently blocking traffic. Could you please move a maroon Commodore VTF 225? It's blocking traffic.
Players to get into some play, and they're setting things up quite well.
Melbourne on the board, Adelaide with a 3-goal advantage at about the 20-minute mark of this first term here at AAMI. Biglands gets up high. It was a nice tap. Got it down to Shirley. He was wrapped up in the tackle, though, and we'll have take 2. 25 plays 7. Adelaide 6-5 for the year. And the D's, well, they have been under the microscope in recent weeks. The tap won again there by Biglands, taken away by Melbourne. Kick up towards centre half forward. Vardy at the bottom of the pack, taken by Gallagher. Now back it goes to McLeod. Wobbly old kick. And the ball is taken there by Williams. Williams, some good evasive skills. Put his teammate under the pump, though. That wasn't a good handball. And it's welcome back to Clinton Grivers.
Kim, it's like last week for you, isn't it? You're calling by yourself. Now, again, we apologise for the technical problems. The Gremlin Junior has hopefully been ushered out of the truck. Went and saw Neil Danaher, and he's moved Neats to full back and Nicholson to full forward. But it's like riding the deck chairs on the Titanic at the minute, as we'll have another bounce in the centre square. 5 minutes remaining, opening quarter. Crows by 3 goals. At least Melbourne showing some spirit here. There's Neats on Ian Perry, and when someone's kicked 4 goals in an opening term, you certainly do have to make the change. And there has been some question marks about Neil Danaher on match day in the box. His supporters will say, well, he got them to the grand final, and there was no problems then. As Robert Shirley with possession now to try and set the Crows up. Hart setting things up from defence towards half forward. A well-weighted kick. Beautiful ball for Massey. Now we'll watch Neats following Perry. Perry provides the lead. Massey goes in his direction. He's dragged out of it by Neats. There's no whistle. Roving is Begley. Onto the left. High ball across the face. It's out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Demons. Last line of defence. Well, can they withstand what has been an amazing opening surge by the Crows? Time to stand up. They're down 18 points.
Well, there's one thing about Adelaide they've shown in recent seasons. They do give a side, an opponent, an opportunity to get back into the game. So the D's have to hang tough. Another late goal, and they are certainly right in this game. That handball was very ordinary to Jamar. And that is holding the ball. And gee, the big fella was put under the pump there.
That's right. The handballs, they just can't miss the target like that, can they?
And big Mark Jamar hails from country South Australia in Port Pirie. Only playing his 5th AFL game, and now Begley has an opportunity to line up. Yet to kick a goal this season, yet to kick a goal for the Adelaide Crows. 36 games with St Kilda, but he's been in pretty good form. He has a shot from right on 51. Has it got the carry? It has, but not the accuracy. So Adelaide move along to 4-2, 26. 19-point advantage over the D's.
Bizzle will bring it back into play. Now, caught in a few minds there. Good kick going out wide. Finds David Neats. The captain perhaps to lift Melbourne. Well, his kick missed Thompson and Whelan, and Rashudo helping it near the boundary line. Stays in. Gallagher tied up by Heffernan. We'll have a bounce between wing and half forward for the Crows on the outer side. Ground close to capacity. It'll be above 40,000 today. And with those concerns about the weather, another terrific home ground attendance. Some good crowds across the league again this week. As you can see by the soft turf, that ball didn't get a lot of height following the bounce. Shirley, long ball to McGregor. Spoiled by Bruce. Welsh with the pick-up, caught. Melbourne defence good. Johncock quick. Burton steadies on the right. Snaps. Another one for Adelaide. He'll enjoy that, Brett Burton. 100th goal of his AFL career, just his second for the season. Has had a few problems injury-wise and was all onto this one. And that ball just staying in the Crows attacking 50 and a good finish.
That's where they're very, very dangerous. John the way in which he just ran hard at the wreck with that footy, setting up the goal for Burton. They are very dangerous inside that inside 50 area.
Adelaide looking very good, 5-2 to Melbourne 1-1. Brett Burton with his 100th AFL goal. And he's had a horrid run, nasty ankle injury in round 2. He's back and looking to play some decent football, but it's the D's going inside 50. Wobbly old kick. The ball came out to Vardy, playing against his old side. He's had a lean season in 2003. And he picks up a free kick here. Only kicked 5 goals for the season, which is most unlike Peter Vardy. Pretty good debut year for the D's, though. Now, his best would nearly get there. He's a great shot from around 50, but he doesn't fancy himself, so he drops a short pass, and it's right on 50 now, and it's been taken by Liancelli. Tawney on the mark.
The big difference is that the Melbourne boys just haven't got any options to kick to. Now it's like ants around a sugar bowl here, but when it goes inside 50 for the Crows, they have 3 or 4 options.
Taking it a long time to bring it inside 50 as well. That's the other problem. Adelaide flooding back, and he's tried to give that everything, but he's kicked an absolute stinker. Came off the instep, and that is out of bounds on the full. So with just over a minute and a half remaining, it will be the Crows to go forward again. Nathan Bassett, he was on the Melbourne list for a while. Bassett brings it back to the Melbourne side. Down to... Good mark by Biglands. 32 plays 7, 25 points. Biglands brings it down to the members' side, now taken by Johncock. Been struggling in recent weeks, kicks it around his body. Ball taken by Welsh. Welsh on the left. Long kick, Burton underneath it. Burton's taken the mark and he's kicked his second goal.
The best thing about that goal is Walsh, when the ball came down, ran about the wing, he was caught behind, he did the discipline thing, regardless where you are on the ground, you are caught behind, punched the ball forward, he did so, and the ball ended up down in the 10-yard square with a goal to Burton. Very disciplined play.
6-2 plays 1-1 live across Australia on Fox Footy. Demon fans join Russell Green and I tomorrow night on White Line Fever to talk about it. Burton with 2 goals, Perry with 4 goals. Crows with a 31-point lead. Getting close to quarter time, and fair to say, the Demons will need to regroup and start afresh. Minute to play. Biglands against Jolie now in the ruck. Uze sending it out wide. Foot race for Heffernan and Hart. They both soccer it. Hart pushing off Heffernan initially. Good recovery, good tackle Heffernan. Now McDonald steadies. Works it towards half forward. Liancelli and McLeod. Rashudo at the back for Adelaide. Over the top for Massey. The springboard from defence with 3/4 of a minute. Towards the broadcast side, and a good mark taken by Bassett. Plays for the 50, won't get it. Wants to lay it off quickly. Now they can look to go. Tawney to a contested half forward. McGregor doubling back. Demons will try and run it out here. Uze goes short. Good kick. Finds Green. Back for Uze. Just a little chip kick. Off hands. It's over for a boundary throw-in. Melbourne's attacking side of the wing, but you fancy the scoring's done for the opening term. And it's going to be the Adelaide Crows in occupation of a very handy lead. The former St James Begley, along with Gallagher, just keeping limbered up on the sideline. And a high tackle. It's going to be an Adelaide Crows free kick. And by our statistics, they're 10th for this opening quarter. The Eagles had 4 for the match last week. Quarter time, Crows fans happy. And why not? That's the...
Paul Simpson didn't expect this.
Okay.
But what happened next was totally unexpected.
Don't worry, we'll sort it out.
Only AAMI gives you your own personal client manager who'll look after your claim and all your repairs from start to finish.
Lucky you're with AAMI.
Everybody picks me. Pick 7. Lucky 7, they say. Oh, the pressure. I'm just a number, for goodness sake.
Got your winning numbers?
Police emergency.
Yes, it's my shed. Someone's broken the lock and ripped off some of my tools and other stuff.
Is anyone in the shed now?
It probably happened over the weekend.
A moment's thought before dialing can make a world of difference for you and others. Think first, then dial.
Come to Cabaret. Musical theatre does not get better than this. A sexy, dazzling and mesmerising production, brilliantly reinvented by Oscar-winning director Sam Mendes. Are you ready? Be seduced by Cabaret at the Festival Theatre from June 17. Final tickets on sale now at Bass.
I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm becoming. But I know one thing for sure. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
In cinemas, June 26.
If you want in-depth footy coverage written by the experts, nothing matches the advertiser. Except, of course, all the news and analysis in the Sunday Mail. The Advertiser and Sunday Mail. No one gets you closer to the footy action.
Does that sound familiar, footy fans? It's that time again. Our super screen is going to pan around AAMI Stadium to pick out one lucky person wearing or waving the Overland visor, and that person is going to win 2 return Overland tickets to Melbourne, including a twin sleeper cabin, champagne welcome and complimentary lunch. Wave those visors around, do whatever you can. The super screen camera is now panning in, and it looks like we might have our second winner. Gentleman wearing red there. Wave that visor around, you're on the screen. Congratulations, sir, you're going to Melbourne in style. Put your hands together for our second winner. A terrific performance. Don't forget, keep wearing your visors for the big one at three-quarter time. A chance to go to the AFL Grand Final on the Overland.
As we take a look at a progress score during the third quarter up at the Gabba, the Brisbane Lions taking on West Coast, and it's West Coast 120-67 approaching three-quarter time up at the Gabba. And as we go over the page, this is a progress score from the second quarter at the MCG. Contested possessions. All right, Crows fans, time to make plenty of noise and get behind the Crows as the second quarter.
No, it's a rule, but it's not one I like. There wasn't a lot in that.
And it's so costly, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And, gee, you know, the player on the mark does have to police the player that's taken the football. And Bassett was looking to play on.
Players train for that.
Bassett now puts it inside 50. Neitz is there, but taking the mark is Burton, who started on the interchange bench and came on and kicked 2. So it was a dream start for Adelaide, with Perry kicking 4 goals, as Clinton mentioned, in the first 13 minutes of the game. And this is not the start the D's would be looking for. So that was a costly 50-metre penalty. Brett Burton, leading goal kicker for the Adelaide Crows last season with 51.
It's a fine piece of work, lovely kick, but Perry off the ball really did keep his opponent away from running into Burton. It was a great team play.
We take a look at the reverse angle. Looks pretty good, just drifting away. So that is through for a minor score. So a let-off for the D's. Adelaide move along to 6-3-39. Melbourne 1-1-7. Clint Bizzle with the re-entry. And it's a nice pass to find Leoncelli. Played on quickly, and that's what they have to do. They've got to make things happen. Walsh is under pressure, so too Bizzle. Now they're in strife. McLeod picks it up on the left, goes towards goal and just offline. So another let-off there. Adelaide 6-4, Melbourne 1-1.
They got out of jail there, but the intensity, which is very interesting, has continued. Peter Curran was concerned that maybe it might drop off, but certainly with that type of play then, 3 or 4 blokes gang tackling's been excellent.
Bizzle, short and wide for Williams to maintain possession from the kick-in. Crows with a tight zone. About a dozen players involved here. Williams, good kick. Out wide for Bruce, now Walsh, and now they can get some run in the legs as Walsh goes to the outer wing. Just didn't have enough on it for Jamar. Big man had to lurch forward. Thompson, a fumble over the boundary line for a throw-in the true outer wing position. Some of those other leading ball winners for the Crows were, should I mention, with 10 touches. Bassett had 7 possessions in the opening term, 5 of which were hand passes. Tawney and Edwards, McLeod all with half a dozen possessions. McLeod nearby again here. Bickley, dangerous. Jamar shoveling it out. Thompson for Uze, might not have been expecting it. Stenglein with the tackle. Uze searching perhaps for a free. Thompson towards half forward. Tawney with the first touch, knocked it down well. Again, McLeod working. And McDonald of Melbourne can't prize it clear. About 60 out from the Demon goal.
Will and Godfrey have got both huge jobs. If they can curtail McLeod and Rashudo this quarter, then Melbourne can get a little bit more from their on-ballers, they can get back into the game.
Confirmation there of the leading ball winners to this point. Massey dives in on it. Jamar, well done. This is better for Melbourne. To Leoncelli, 55 out. To the pocket for Green. The kick made him work. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Jamar doing okay, 6 possession. In fact, he'd be on top of Biglands at the moment. He's working hard around the ground. Throwing in that left forward pocket. Sun shining at AAMI Stadium. A lot of rain early in the day. Biglands takes front position. Jamar did well to make a contest. Loose ball came out to McDonald, intercepted by the opposing 23 in McLeod, and he gets a clearing kick to the boundary.
That last passage of play there, you would think that backmen hate to be isolated. Everyone was around the footy. If I was a Melbourne bloke, I'd be pushing out into spaces to put pressure on the Adelaide boys. But at this stage, they're not doing that type of thing. That's something they might look at.
Throwing on the outer side, about 60 out from the Melbourne goal. Ball came down to Uze, tried to soccer it off the ground. Oh, a lot of attention there. 3 Adelaide players, including the captain in Rashuto. And Adam Uze thrown into the turf. Great season last year. Equal third in the Brownlow. He is a class act. They need to jag one. They need to get a couple. Jamar did well. Got a hand to it. Down towards Thompson. Tyson Edwards there. And the umpire will do it all again. 33 points the margin in front of Adelaide. 4 minutes into this second term here at AAMI Stadium.
A little bit like trench warfare. I mean, the Melbourne boys have just got to start to work their way back into the game. If they can steal a couple of goals, anything's possible.
Well, that's what you said. As you said, 2 to 3 goals the margin at half-time. That's what they should be aiming for, perhaps, to work their way back into it. They're in attack here. And Jamar used his body well to get in front. Uze, caught by Edwards, did well to get the handball in front of Leoncelli. Williams finds an opening. This is better. Williams with a high kick, though, across the face. Still a chance. Robertson with the flight. The bounce important. Smart, Green. Robertson caught. It was a good tackle by Hart. And his kick slews off out of bounds on the full.
That was a hard one for Robinson, but the interesting thing and the good thing about it, he got back for the second effort, unless, unfortunately, kicked it out of bounds on the full.
First time we've called him today as the kick comes into Tawney. He's seen plenty of it from a Crows perspective. Goes to Hart, who's set it up. Defensive side of the broadcast wing. As we scroll through some of the numbers there, Melbourne with more hand passes. Now Hart's kick smothered by Robertson. Did well to dive in there. Bickley, the second effort good. Crows with numbers out wide. Hart laying it off for McGregor. Down the line towards Edwards. Massey, who had to wait. He was crunched by Uze. Boundary throw in half forward for the Crows.
6-4 to 1-1. And as we mentioned, Melbourne just looking for a couple of goals, get a little bit of fluency through the midfield. And Robertson has been a little quiet. Hart taking him well down the ground on a number of occasions. Biglands won the tap. McDonald in there, started on the interchange bench, went through the legs of Whelan. In there, Godfrey always works hard at ground level. Leoncelli out to McDonald. Now they have some space and some run provided by Bizzle. Back to Whelan, slipped over, has good support though in the form of Heffernan. Runs with the football. Wobbly kick inside 50. They need a grab and they take it. Brad Green, and gee, it was 3 against 1. He had to take that one. Has kicked their only goal and will line up from about 35 metres out.
But that was much better. They really did run the footy then, although the kick wasn't a great one. Green made something of it at the end. And look, if they can kick this, it's all of a sudden it's only a 4-goal type situation. And look, they just got to believe in themselves, keep working.
Well, he's one of the best kicks in the business. Has kicked 19 for the season. He can drag the margin back to 27 points. Normally a tough pocket here at AAMI Stadium at the southern end, the right forward pocket. But as I said, he is one of the best, and that is why he has kicked this second.
That will give him a huge...
Rebecca James of Taringi, please come to the matchday office. That's Rebecca James of Taringi. Please come to the matchday office.
Flipped over. He had 2 or 3 blokes he could have lent the footy to. Look, that's great work. And he's just got to keep persevering.
Well, he kicked 3 goals in that loss to Collingwood last week. 3 of the 10, Brad Green. He's now got 20 for the season. The margin is 27 points. Neil Danaher inching forward in his seat. Demons have stabilised. And now, perhaps the fight back is on. Umpire Kennedy with the bounce. Biglands for Stenglein. Leoncelli dumps him in a good tackle. Whelan is tied up. Will have a second bounce. At least there are some positive signs there now for Melbourne. As we have a look at the Crows bench to start this second term. Melbourne with 7 losses in their last 8 starts. After they'd won 2 of their opening 3 matches this season. Biglands wins it down. Leoncelli is held without it. Will get a free kick. Melbourne fans screaming at their TV sets. That's number 4, Demon fans. 10 for the Crows. And what a wonderful ball for Robertson on the lead. And he'll line up from 45 out, just to the right of dead centre.
Magnificent kick, and it all started in that centre. The hard work around the footy was excellent. That's what they've got to maintain it and keep on going. Contest after contest, not just for the first 3 or 4 minutes, but for the entire this quarter. You just concentrate, try and get back in with 2 or 3 goals at half time.
Should kick it, Russell Robertson on its way, and he has got it. And they are getting back in it. Robertson gets his first, and the margin all of a sudden is just 21 points.
Well, in the first quarter, it was Crows all over the place. Blokes running around unchecked. But as soon as this quarter started, you can see the intensity has lifted. Maybe 5 minutes into the first quarter, it lifted. They've carried it on. And they're working exceptionally hard around the footy, and that's the reason why they're getting back into the game. And
well, Leoncelli and Uze dragging their teammates back into this game. The margin, 21 points, will go down to Wayne Schwash shortly. They need a centre clearance, the D's. And they're starting to find a little bit more. Let's go down to Wayne Schwash now.
You've got to admire Simon Godfrey. Doesn't get a lot of accolades for the job that he does, but everywhere Mark Rasciuto goes, he's terrorising at the moment, on and off the ball.
Bigland's won the tap, but a free kick's been picked out. Thrown to the ground there, Tyson Edwards, and it's an Adelaide free kick. It'll go the way of Tyson Stenglein. Been missing for a few weeks with injury. 40 plays 19. Stenglein brings it back to the members' half-forward flank. Underneath it, Henshaw, but a good mark taken there by Miller. The 2 opposing number 37s. Bit of run provided now as Lamb brings it back to the members' wing, and a good mark taken by Whelan. So they have lifted their work rate and their confidence. Well, it's growing. When you get around Andrew McLeod, you've definitely got some confidence. Short kick to Leoncelli. Now a long one. Tawney underneath it. And that wasn't well distributed. And Jason Tawney takes it at the true centre half-back position.
Matthew Whelan is one of the most talented boys going around. He doesn't get the recognition he thoroughly deserves.
Did a great job on Mark Rasciuto last year in round 12 and had a tremendous season last year, Whelan. That unfortunate calf injury. Missed the final series. Gallagher into Johncock. Johncock's been a little bit quiet in recent weeks. Rasciuto's having a big game this afternoon. To Massey, to Henschel in his second game. Now chips it out wide. And Rasciuto with the football again. Possession number 12. The run provided by Johncock on the outer half-forward flank. Kicks it long, looking for Perry. He's the target. Burton got up high. The Birdman couldn't take it. Cameron Bruce very good at round level. Now taken by Heffernan. Nice looking kick, and he's found a teammate on the outer side in Williams.
Melbourne continuing to build. Williams, good ball for Bruce. A beauty, and Bruce doesn't let him down. Now Godfrey sprints forward. Bruce was tied up by Massey. Well, they are looking impressive in this second term, the Demons. Bruce, long ball to half forward, and in front, Vardy. Well, he'd be disappointed he didn't drag that one in. Rasciuto's dump, smart. Gets by McDonald. Hurried one to Tawney, under pressure, very high ball. Might have travelled to 15. It's knocked away anyway by Burton. Out in front of Johncock and Walsh. Walsh did well, pushes Johncock past it. And Thompson sprawls for the line and finds it for a boundary throw-in.
That last contest was great courage for all those boys who flew for the footy. And I can't make out who's down on the ground.
That's Bassett, the man who's down. That's the replay of the Burton marking attempt from a little earlier. He was the man spoiling there a moment ago as Bickley's tied up. Thompson now getting involved towards Williams. In front of Tawney, and he's taken a pretty good mark at left half forward. Now, their forwards have got some room to run to in Robertson, although he was very well played there by Hart. So Williams goes just short. Vardy with the recovery, lays the hand pass off. McDonald on the run to try and kick another one. Hart getting back there and takes the mark with a metre to spare.
Well, the momentum has definitely swung in favour of the Demons at the moment, getting a lot of the football, doing all the attacking. Hart in turn to Gallagher. Gallagher now infield to Nigel Smart. Gee, he just, he went to sleep and went straight over his head. Stenglein there for support. Now Tyson Edwards picks it up. He needs support as well. Good tackle. This is good pressure by Melbourne. Heffernan in there. They want to hold him the ball. Umpire says, sorry, boys, I'll bounce 60 metres out.
The Demons are playing with enormous passion at this particular stage and putting enormous pressure on them, on the Crows boys. And the Crows are chipping around a little bit more than what they were. A lot more direct.
Melbourne trailing by 21 points. Jamar did well. Loose ball picked up by Whelan. Goes through the back door to Heffernan, starting to find a little bit of it on the... Well, he was on the left, but he used the right. And he has now found Miller. Too far out to score. Unloads from about 65. He's looking for Robertson, and he got there. Took the diving mark, and Russell Robertson will have a shot on a pretty tight angle now, about 30 metres out.
That all started on the 50-metre line when Whelan was about 3 or 4 blokes hanging off him, had enough composure to get it out to Heffernan, who kicked it across to the centre-half forward position. Great work by Matthew Whelan.
Well, Heffernan having a good second term. He's now had 6 possessions ball up, and he can drag this margin back to 15 points. He is a sharp shooter, and he loves to kick a goal, and it looks like he's pushed that one across the face. So the margin now back to 20 points, and we've had nearly 14 minutes of this second term.
You hear the crowd getting a little restless at the moment. It looked like it was going to be a party this afternoon for them as Rashudo gains a few metres and drives a long ball towards Bigland. Well read at the back, Whelan. Couldn't control it initially. McDonald and McLeod. There's Uze, does well for Thompson. Goes short on the leader's green, chipping in Bassett from the side. And the Crows can look to get some run through Bickley. Towards the outer wing. Good bounce for McGregor. High to half forward. Welsh has one out with Bizzle. Bizzle does well. Good spoil for McDonald. Little handball for Jamar. Not too much on it. Bizzle not quite getting the free. Jamar, good follow-up. Back for McDonald on half-back. There's a fraction of time to steady. His kick, though, is very wide out on the full.
He's finding the football, though, Clinton, since coming onto the ground, James McDonald.
Edwards as the Crows build towards full forward. Welsh getting back there. Well done by Walsh. And Melbourne having the answers as he pops it out in front of Heffernan. Might run away from him near the line. And no, Heffernan can keep it in. Being stalked by Begley. Godfrey runs onto it. And now Melbourne can go here. Taking it as Miller. Towards half forward, and Williams is in front, and he's taken another mark. Has a loose man in the attacking 50, no respect to Green, kicks astray from him. Robertson's back in the goal square, they can't get it to him, and it's over for a boundary throw-in deep in Melbourne's attacking zone.
In the first quarter, they hardly had any options at all up front. As we saw then, unfortunately, didn't fall favourably for the Melbourne boys, but they had 3 or 4 options up there.
Disposals, Adelaide 117, Melbourne have clawed their way back into it 112. Bickley, good hands to get the ball out to the run of Burton as he careers through the middle of AAMI Stadium. Kicks long, the target Rashudo. Lamb on his hammer and tack. Now he gets back onto the right foot. Good vision to see Welsh. Not sure about the kick though. He found Perry in the end. Got it back to Welsh. Unprotected goal. He's tried to Dacos almost, but that has just squirted through for a minor score. And they'll take that at the moment, Adelaide. They move along to 6-5-41. Melbourne 3-2-20. And statistically, getting a lot more of the football, Russell.
They certainly are. They've really put themselves in and having a dip.
And that's all the folks back home can ask as Bizzle finds Leoncelli in half-back. Question in the opening 10 minutes of the game as Leoncelli goes to McDonald, takes the mark before Bassett arrives. Wouldn't they love another couple prior to the half-time siren? The Adelaide lead, 21 points. McDonald squares it up for Bizzle. Now some run through midfield with Whelan. High ball to full forward. Bruce will fly. Knocked it away from Burton. Burton now, the handball in front of Hart. Still under pressure, the Crows. Stenglein, Bickley. Equal to the task for the time being. Smart about to be mown down. Does very well for Stenglein. For Bassett. For Laddams. Worked it to the wing. And a good kick for Welsh at half forward. Back for the running Begley. Spears the pass inside 50 for Rashudo. Traps it well on the bounce. McGregor's gone. McDonald got him. Now Perry for Laddams. Short to the pocket. Massey has to wait. Tight angle has it 40 out. Is going to centre it. And the man on is Welsh. Well, Johncock will take it before it reaches him. And Graham Johncock will try and kick the Crows' first goal. A steadying one for this second quarter.
Johncock's a fine player. It should not have any trouble kicking this footy. But yesterday we had occasions where, just talking about the St Kilda game, they had the opportunity, they kicked 1-5 to really put the pressure on Port Adelaide. The Melbourne boys have got to make sure that when the ball goes down there, they do put the pressure on the scoreboard. So important. They've got the ascendancy at this particular stage, and they've got to make every post a winner.
They've controlled the inside 50s this quarter, haven't they? Johncock looking for Adelaide's first goal of quarter number 2, 45 metres out. It's a perfect kick, and the Crows get a steadier. 7-5 plays 3-2. They're back out by 27 points, and you can bang the fences here at AAMI Stadium.
Yes. Look, the Melbourne boys have been very brave, but the most important thing is only about 8 or 10 minutes to go. They've just got to make sure that if they can be around the 2 or 3 goal mark behind when they go in, it's been a very, very creditable performance. But the other thing is, if they take the pressure off and they let McLeod run free, Bickley, Rashudo, these type of blokes, it could be a 5 or 6, 7 goal blowout.
The margin back out to 27 points for the Adelaide Crows, courtesy of Graham Johncock's first goal of the game. Made his debut round 1 last year, yet to miss one. Ball fancies, or the bounce fancied Biglands. Handball over the top to Edwards, in turn to McLeod. Run provided there by Shirley, who's back onto the ground. Now with Burton. Burton kicks long. Welsh the target. Rashudo from behind. Bizzle did well. Stood his ground. Very strong overhead. Plays on quickly. Travis Johnston needs to find a little bit of the football, provide a bit of run. McDonald's certainly done that, and so too Cameron Bruce. They have well and truly lifted. They've got the D's back into this game as the ball is put up towards half forward. Stenglein did well, stood his ground as well. Now goes back towards Massey. Massey over the top, good handball to Tawney, inside McLeod, back to Tawney. Great pressure there by Williams. McLeod puts on a little bit of speed there, whacked it up into second for a moment, found Shirley, Stenglein, Biglands. Bassett's playing a good game for Adelaide this afternoon. He's in the middle of the ground. Now squirts it out, looking for the captain in Rashudo. Couldn't find that player. Godfrey there, always desperate. Picked up by Burton, went back searching for Laddams. Great tackle by Thompson. Now Perry, who was red hot in the opening stages of this game, gets onto the left, but he's put it through for a point. Adelaide 7-6, Melbourne 3-2.
You have to compliment the Melbourne boys. They still are sticking at it. It's so important that they do, because it's a huge reward if they can maintain this physical and mental pressure on their opposition.
Johnston with just 3 possessions, but he is one of the keys to this Melbourne side. When he's finding the football, they certainly look a good side, and that was not good.
That's something that really breaks your heart. On a Melbourne perspective, you just hope he doesn't kick the goal, but obviously on Adelaide perspective, you hope he does, and that extends it to over 5 goals. And they have worked exceptionally hard.
Well, that's the key. They've worked exceptionally hard, and they give it away like that.
And they struggled in that area with the re-entries last week against Collingwood, and well, Tyson Edwards, normally pretty accurate. He's kicked 14 for the season, 101 career goals. Will this be 102? It certainly is. Adelaide kicked their 8th.
Well, from a Melbourne perspective, that's exactly what Neil Danaher didn't want. But the interesting thing was, I didn't see one Melbourne boy go up to Travis Johnson then and say, listen, mate, forget about it. Look, it's unfortunate. It's a bad kick. It happens occasionally. That was disappointing. If it was me, I was out there, I would have been patting him on the backside saying, listen, mate, it's a bad one. Let's get on with it. Be interesting to see if he can redeem himself, get a hand on the footy, get it down, then try and score a goal himself.
Andrew McLeod disappearing to the rooms. Wayne Schwass, do you have news?
Andrew McLeod has just come straight off the ground, has clutched his right knee straight down the race, so we'll have to wait for confirmation as to a problem with his right knee.
All right, keep us posted with the Crows in front by 34 points. Melbourne getting the clearance, but Begley tracking it to half back. Has time to steady, chip towards the centre square, and it was a well-weighted kick for Edwards. Handball missed Burton, following up Shirley for Tawney. Can he get by Heffernan? It doesn't matter, he's got Burton in support, and all of a sudden Adelaide have got some run back in their game, and this is Laddams driving it towards the goal square with Rashudo getting in front and taking the mark, and he will line it up from 25 metres out in the right forward pocket to try and make it suddenly a 40-point game.
Whether they did in the first quarter, they moved the ball up the corridor. They were very good, quick. First bloke without pressure, fed the ball off. Replica of that then was 1 or 2 quick handballs and moved it long to a forward leading into space, and that's all you can ask for a forward. It's up to the forward to do the rest, as Rashudo has done.
Matter of 6 or 7 minutes ago, it was back to a 20-point margin, but now Rashudo, following this mark in the pocket, can make it a 40-point Adelaide Crow lead. He's the chief ball winner on the ground already. They are his numbers, 16 possessions, and this for his opening goal of the afternoon. The third-year captain had 19 touches against the Hawks last week. We're right behind the kick with the camera on the opposite side of the ground. Should be a goal to the skipper. And it is. 40 points to lead. Godfrey going close to him, exchanging a few words. Adelaide players eager to pat the skipper on the back. Simon Godfrey never gives less than the proverbial 100%, does he?
He's an absolute tremendous competitor, and a lot of the Melbourne boys should take a leaf out of his book. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. They've just got to keep working and persevering, and hopefully they won't score another goal pride, and maybe they could steal one back. But they've just got to keep heads down, backsides up, get in there and first for the footy like they have for the most of the game this quarter.
Mark Prosciutto with his 15th goal of the season, having a huge game, 17 disposals already, just having a rest down forward. The margin back out to 40 points after the D's drag themselves back into this one here at AAMI. The tap goes down towards Laddams on the right boot. He's non-preferred, puts it out wide to the outer side. Burton becoming a factor in this game, socketed off the ground. John Cock has it. Well, got away from the tackler far too easy. Puts it on the right boot, inside 50. Henschel came from behind. Prosciutto tried to crash his way through. He's wrapped up by a strong tackle. And we'll have a bounce down about 40 to 45 out on that right half forward flank.
There was a great bit of play by Burton to kick the footy off the ground, and John Cock, his skills, bending over, running 100 miles an hour, picking up clean. That was unbelievable play.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in this second term. Biglands, McDonald, now to Godfrey with the left boot. Good work there by John Cock, taken by Laddams around his body. Just offline, the margin now out to 41.
That would probably be the only criticism of Godfrey, his lateral vision at times, or maybe no one was talking to him, telling him that he was hot.
Well, that re-entry was better. It's been taken by Johnson. This time he goes, well, across the ground to Armstrong. Armstrong one way, then the other, over the top to Bruce. Bruce back to Uze, always works hard, out there looking for Miller. Set the big fella a task, but the ball sits up nicely on the left. He gets it around his body, put it inside 50. McGregor, though, with the mark. Was it paid? Yes, it was. And 2 against 1 up forward again there, Russell, for Melbourne.
Yeah, look, it makes it very difficult when the ball comes in like that. If you've got 2 or 3 blokes in front of you, it's nearly impossible.
Crows with momentum back on their side as Tawney delivers to Hart on half back. I like how your cup is half full, man, Russell. It's not all doom and gloom for the D's. 41 points behind in Adelaide against the Crows, nearing half-time, having lost 7 of your last 8. I like your para-positive thinking. Bassett to the outer side, less than a minute to go before half-time. Stenglein to try and set up the Crows here. Chip kick over the top intended for Massey will be chopped off by Armstrong. Can Melbourne get one back now? Handball for Uze on the wing. Pops it out, good vision there. Townley and Shelley, the kick just astray, and Bassett did enough to force a boundary throw-in. Got mown down for his trouble as well.
Great defensive work by Bassett. He realised the only way to take it out was to put his body on the line, and he did that appropriately.
Another look at it. It was self-preservation or go for the footy, and naturally he took the footy. Jolly wins it down. Burton under pressure. Armstrong with the wall set up for Melbourne. Is there time? 25 seconds. Stabs the kick intended for Green. Massey chops it off for the Crows, and now they'll have the last roll of the dice for the quarter. Tawney has had plenty of it this term. Towards the members' wing and Hart. Oh, and he's taken a beauty.
Well, he's class, and we've known he's been class for so long now, and courage as well.
Finds Massey, finds Tawney. That's half-time at AAMI Stadium. Well, the Crows dominated this match early. 4 goals in the opening 13 minutes. They led by 31 points at quarter time. Melbourne
here at AAMI Stadium, and it's all the Adelaide Crows with a 41-point lead, 9-7-61 to 3-2-20. Goal scorers that quarter, John Cock, Edwards and Prosciutto with 1 each, and Brad Green kicked his second for the Demons. Russell Robertson, the other Melbourne goal scorer. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome the young players participating today in the AFL Auskick. AFL Auskick is proudly brought to you by Simpson. In today's Auskick grid games, West Adelaide Football Club is being represented by the Murray Mallee Football League and the Sturt Football Club represented by Harndorf Auskick Centre. In the AFL Little League, West Adelaide is being represented by the Murray Mallee Football League and the Sturt Football Club represented by Bridgewater Football Club.
Simpson are giving you a chance to win a family holiday to the Gold Coast, visiting Dreamworld, as well as a PlayStation 2 and AFL Live 2003, simply by answering this week's question at afl.com.au. Thanks to Simpson AFL Life Kick, get a kick out of life.
I woke up one morning and my girlfriend dumped me, so I went to do some shopping and cheer myself up. I bought 5 instant scratchy tickets and won 25 grand.
With that scratchy, I decided to buy more scratchies, and I won $25,000.
I played a $2 scratchy and I won 100,000. So I said, whoopee.
Well, I think I'd say more than whoopee.
I buy myself a small country. Tahiti sounds nice.
Paul Simpson didn't expect this. But what happened next was totally unexpected.
Good afternoon. Welcome to AAMI.
Oh, you're a real person. When you call Amy, you'll speak to a real person, not a computer.
You're having fun, aren't you? Lucky you're with Amy.
Come to Cabaret. Musical theatre does not get better than this. A sexy, dazzling and mesmerizing production, brilliantly reinvented by Oscar-winning director Sam Mendes. Are you ready? Be seduced by Cabaret at the Festival Theatre from June 17. Final tickets on sale now at Bass.
If you want in-depth footy coverage written by the experts, nothing matches the advertiser. Except, of course, all the news and analysis in the Sunday Mail. The Advertiser and Sunday Mail. No one gets you closer to the footy action.
Call the draft, please.
Perfect. Brewery Fresh Carlton Draft. Draft beer at its best.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to wear your Overland hat throughout the game today, as one lucky person spotted wearing their Overland hat will win 2 tickets to this year's AFL Grand Final and gold kangaroo service train travel to Melbourne. The Overland, relax, take the train.
Hello, police rescue.
Oh, hello. I need help. My husband and his best friend have gone missing driving to the footy.
They went to AAMI Stadium by Carman.
Why would you ever want to drive to AAMI Stadium when the Footy Express is now even bigger and better with new services and new routes? No parking, no traffic hassles, get dropped off right at the entrance to the stadium and get home lightning fast. For details, phone the Passenger Transport Info line on 8210 1000.
Send up a chopper. Looks like we've got another 2 guys trapped in traffic.
An initiative of the Government of South Australia.
We thought we'd ask a couple of Crows fans today about what they're going to be doing next week because, of course, the whole competition has a break. There's no footy on, no SANFL. They've got the State of Origin over in Perth. So we're going to ask some Crows fans about how they're going to get their footy fix next weekend. I've got Mark here with me. Mark, how are you?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
Very well. What are you going to do next week? No footy on. How are you going to get your fix?
I'll probably go down and watch the kids play footy on Saturday and... yeah, just relax on Sunday and wait for the week after.
Sounds pretty good. Not too stressful. Just what are your thoughts on the week's break? Do you think it's a good idea?
Not for the fans, but I think it's pretty good for the players. I think they need it. The bodies, especially the Crows, with all the injuries, so it'll help us.
It should definitely benefit the Crows at this stage, don't you reckon?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, State of Origin football, do you see any need for that these days?
Probably not. I'd like State of Origin, but with the clubs and the amount of wages the players have been paid, it's probably not a good thing.
No worries. Mark, thanks very much for your time. As we move around the barbecue here, we've got, what's your name, sir?
Craig.
G'day, Craig. How are you?
Hello, Sam.
What are you going to do next weekend? No footy? Are you lost?
Oh, I'll probably head and watch the local league, mate. Have a look at them.
No SANFL either. They've got the State of Origin during the week.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to find something to do with ourselves then, won't we?
I'm sure you'll manage. And just what are your thoughts on the week's break? Do you think it's a good idea? Firstly, fans, obviously, not a great idea, but what about for the players?
For the players, I think definitely it gives them the chance that they need to get back after the injuries that a lot of them have been carrying through the season. So gives them that break, to that bit of extra time to get over their injuries.
Would you like to see State of Origin football return?
Yes, I would, provided it was played here, of course, and not in Melbourne. So yeah, it'd be a good idea to bring it back, I think.
Good stuff, mate. Thanks for your name, sir. G'day, David. How you going?
Yeah, good, mate.
Week off next week. No footy, no AFL, no SANFL. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Be a big loss. Absolutely. Find a barbie somewhere to go to and, yeah, just kick into it that way.
If there was a State of Origin match on, how would you be?
Yeah, I think State of Origin's good. Absolutely. That rivalry between the states is superb. Yeah, need more of it.
And the Crows will obviously benefit from the week off?
Absolutely, yeah. They've got a few injuries and they need that rest. That'll do them good, yeah.
Thanks for your time, mate. And that'll do for Footy Talk today. The Crows fans are not too excited about the week off, but I'm sure they'll keep themselves busy. We'll be back with more shortly. Could Trish Oxenham of Hazelwood Park please contact the Matchday office? That's Trish Oxenham of Hazelwood Park. Please go to the Matchday office.
Simpson is proud to sponsor AFL Auskick because we can't think of a better way for kids and parents to spend their time together. Simpson, time for life.
Police emergency.
Is this the police?
It's the police emergency number.
Well, my letterbox has been vandalised by children, I'm sure of it.
A moment's thought before dialing can make a world of difference for you and others. Think first, then dial.
If you want in-depth footy coverage written by the experts, nothing matches the advertiser. Except, of course, all the news and analysis in the Sunday Mail. The Advertiser and Sunday Mail. No one gets you closer to the footy action.
Welcome back, and I'm joined in the box here with Daniel Schell, who's just kicking back and having a look outside, and we're just admiring how the weather's fined up today. Not a bad day for football, Daniel, after all.
Yeah, no, it's turned out all right. There's actually a little bit of wind, but no rain, so I think the boys will be pretty happy at the moment.
Oh, so we have a look at it down there. There we go. A very slight breeze, in fact, not even registering a kilometre there across the ground, and heading west to east. Anyway, Daniel, good to have you here. You've been suffering a bit of a knee problem, so you haven't been playing. What's your story? How are you feeling? How's the knee coming along?
Yeah, not too bad. I had an op about 6 weeks ago, and I'm probably 4 weeks away from playing. So it's a little while on the sidelines, but it's slowly getting better now. So hopefully about 4 weeks I should play.
Beautiful. And how do you see today's game? The Crows, they got a 41-point lead at half-time. Was it signalled as a bit of a danger game in the lead-up this week, playing the Demons?
Yeah, it was, because any team can beat any team on a given day, so, and especially them losing 4 in a row, I think it was, so it was treated as, don't take them lightly, and it's been a good start to the half-time to have a lead like we do, so hopefully we can finish it off in the second half.
Sure, and we're just going to take a look at some of the Crows players in action from the game so far. First of all, Ian Perry, he booted 4 goals in the first quarter. Now, it looks like there's been a bit of work on his kicking action in the off-season. He seems to be on some days and off the others, but definitely on today.
No, he's been really good, hasn't he? First quarter to kick 4 was really impressive, and his goal kicking this year's improved a lot, and he has worked real hard on it, so it's good to see someone who works really hard on something getting some rewards.
Certainly, and if... as we see there, he's definitely got a strong set of hands. He really is he's a good focal point up forward for you guys.
Yeah, he's been good. We've had some injuries and he's stood up and when we've needed someone to. So, good luck to him and hopefully he can get a couple in the second half.
Absolutely. As we just looked at Perry kicking one of his 4 goals, now we take a look at Brett Burton. He kicked 2 in the first quarter as well. He's been suffering a few injuries this year, but obviously good to have the Birdman back in action.
Oh, yeah, he's good back. He comes in and sneaks a couple and doesn't mind a goal. So, he'd be reasonably happy with the way he started. And again, hopefully he can get a couple in the last half as well, because he has been out with injury for a little while.
He's got a fantastic lead, hasn't he, Birdman? I mean, that's... wait for the siren. That's what he's renowned for. Is he given a bit more of a licence these days? As we take a look at Andrew McLeod, we'll focus on McLeod. He actually ran off the ground with what we understand is a knee injury. How big a loss would Andrew McLeod be to the side at the moment?
Yeah, look, he would, but if you look at the moment, we've got people standing up. So, look, hopefully he's not too bad because, there's no other Andrew McLeod on the side. So, hopefully he won't be too bad. They'll assess him at half-time and hopefully we see him start in the second half.
Excellent. Look, thanks for coming up. Stick with us. We've got a couple more questions to ask you a bit later. Daniel Shell joining us up here. We'll be back with more shortly.
Paul Simpson didn't expect this.
Okay.
But what happened next was totally unexpected.
Don't worry, we'll sort it out.
Only AAMI gives you your own personal client manager who'll look after your claim and all your repairs from start to finish.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Well, we may not have had a win lately, but one of us has, because he's managed to find us a couple of new recruits. Righto, bring them in.
Life's different when you've won Powerball.
When it comes over me, it's like being born. The light hitting my face, my heartbeat was like boom. Everything I've ever felt. Fear, power, rage. I can't hold it in anymore. You know what scares me the most? When I totally lose control. I like it.
In cinemas June 26.
I've never felt better.
If you want in-depth footy coverage written by the experts, nothing matches the advertiser. Except, of course, all the news and analysis in the Sunday Mail. The Advertiser and Sunday Mail. No one gets you closer to the footy action.
And we take a look at the final score from the Gabba, and in a huge upset, West Coast over the Brisbane Lions, 24-16, 160 to the Lions, 13-13, 91. An 11-goal victory there for the West Coast over the Gabba. Daniel Schell is joining us up here in the commentary box. Now, Daniel, you're our latest victim. We've got a couple of quick questions for you from fans. They want to know things about players, personal things, that kind of stuff. The first question is, what has been your career highlight so far?
Okay, that's an easy one, mate. Playing my first AFL game when I played for Fremantle, and certainly my first game with the Crows. Very big highlights. I always remember those two.
Your most admired sports person? Doesn't have to be a footballer, can be another sport. Who would that be?
That's a tough one. I never really followed one person. Maybe Leighton Hewitt for his determination.
Now, any fears or phobias? Let's wait for the siren. Any fears or phobias? Something you don't like, you keep away from?
I've got a little bit of a funny one, mate. I'm off the farm, and I'm not a big fan of chooks, to be honest. So, for whatever reason, chooks are a little bit funny.
Chooks? Well, I don't think you'll be seeing any chooks around here today. Daniel, thanks for joining us. It's been great to see you up here. And Crows fans, it's time to get right behind the Adelaide side now as the third quarter is about to get underway here at AAMI Stadium.
Shudo to try and curb his influence on this game. 17 possessions. Needs excellent on Perry. After Perry started in great touch, Hart picking up Robertson in the Melbourne attacking zone. Brad Green also in the goal square. Nigel Smart alongside of him. Can the Demons come back? We've got a couple of other games going on around Australia, so let's quickly check those scores. If you don't want to know them, look away now. Third quarter beginning here at AAMI Stadium. The Demons with some work to do. Jamar trying to get the first possession, but it's Johncock emerging for the Crows. Laddams for Burton. Back for the running Johncock. Too quick there. Travis Johnston dragged off it by McGregor. A bounce on 50 for the Crows. Any structural changes you've found, Russell, from the Demons?
No, well, Nicholson at centre-half forward. Hopefully he can take a few marks and do some damage down there. But I'd still have Neat. So we've got to win. They've got to win the game. They've got to kick enough goals.
Nicholson with 3 goals in his career. Biglands knocking it near the boundary line. Walsh going too far for it. Laddams for Burton. Long towards full forward. Getting back with courage almost for Bruce. Not quite. Here's Perry for Rashudo. Hurried kick at goal. I don't think it was touched. It'll be all clear. What a start for the skipper for the second half. He's got his second goal, and it's just what the Demons did not want.
Exactly that. The thing with David Neat said, he just gave Perry too much room. He had about 3 or 4 meters. Look, he's not even in the picture there. So if he's going to play up back, he's got to make sure. He did an exceptional performance in that second quarter, but he's got to make sure there's a contest. You just got to make sure there's a contest, and there wasn't one there, and that's the reason why that went through.
The margin out to 47 points. Mark Rashudo having a huge game, and also just having a chat to his opponent there in Matthew Whelan. 2 goals, Rashudo, and 18 possessions. Young Jamar's been good in the ruck opposed to Biglands. They've been at it from the outset. And Biglands wins the tap. Got it down to Stengline. Couldn't get an effective clearance. Now Leoncelli on the right boot. They move it forward, and the mark's being taken by Armstrong. Need to get it in quickly, the D's. There's the lead by Russell Robertson. The ball goes in that direction. Tries for a big hanger. Couldn't take it. Massey at the back of the pack. Just got the handball out. Good pressure by the D's, but a free kick's been picked out, and it will go the way of Adelaide, and that goes to Massey.
To hit a bloke like that is impossible to spot him up. You just got to go for something different rather than spot it in the forward line like the Melbourne boys did then.
Russell Robertson managed to get a hand of that. That was good work. Burton's been good since coming off the interchange bench. Ben Hart always steady and reliable apart from that kick, which was put down. Now it goes back to Jamar. Jamar in turn over towards Lamb. Lamb to Heffernan. Heffernan to McDonald, also started on the interchange bench, called to run on, gets around McLeod, that's dangerous work, to Armstrong. McDonald again, McDonald on the left boot, and he's found a teammate. And the mark's been taken by Brad Green, who has kicked 2 goals, 1 in the first and 1 in the second. I mentioned before, he's one of the best in the business, and gee, they need this one, trailing by 47 points.
And the difference with the entry to that footy, at least at least you had the forward leading hard and direct at you into some space, and the kick was perfect. So you do get an opportunity to mark the ball in a situation like that rather than chipping the ball like they did for the previous one.
Brad Green has kicked 20 goals for the season, 2 this afternoon. He'll line up from about 48 metres on the mark. Nigel Smart is standing that mark, the oldest man out there at 34 years of age in his testimonial year. But the action and the focus on Brad Green. Lovely left footer. Did he squeeze that one in? I think he did. He's kicked his third. The D's have their foot. No, he's just offline. Gee, tried to con the umpire. Russell, he got me.
Well, the angle where we were looked as though it actually did go through for a goal.
Margin 46 points as Hart to the back pocket for Begley. Gary Ayres would be delighted with the way this afternoon is unfolding, heading into a break before they take on the Blues. John Cock on half-back now. We'll just square it up. Got the loose numbers back there. Begley once again. Do they switch? Begley's thinking about it. He's being stalked by Johnston. Now Jason Tawney. He's seen plenty of the footy as well. High ball towards the wing. McGregor won't get to the contest. In front, unable to mark, was Lamb. Leoncelli is wrapped up in a good tackle. Uze can't get it. Bigley's caught high by Uze and will take the free kick for the Crows. What's their target for three-quarter time, Melbourne, Russell? Is it 4 goals? Can they still overhaul them if they can get back within that?
It's still a winnable position. I mean, they've just got to try and get back that ascendancy.
Here's McLeod, fully fit once more. High ball inside the attacking 50. Jamar's back there. Big fly, Rashudo roving it as Laddams surveys his options. None on, so he goes long to the Birdman in the square, and then a little bit extra. It's another one for the Crows. Laddams has kicked his first, and the lead is out to a landslide 52 points.
Any young kids watching footy, watching this game here, Laddams put himself in the perfect position. They'll queuing up here. You've got to be front and centre. That's all he had to do. That's what a small rover's got to have to do. Good piece of work by Burton to shepherd it through. It's perfect play for that young fella.
Terrific goal by Chris Laddams. You'll see that and more of the highlights from the weekend coming up tonight on the Winners here on Fox Footy.
You asked me whether they could get back into the game. Now, this is where they've really got a deep dig now, the Melbourne fellas. Got to get first in, feed it off to a bloke and move it as quickly as they possibly can.
The advantage out to 52 points, courtesy of Chris Laddams with his 11th goal of the season. Biglands wins the tap, went down to Stengline, had an airy. McDonald didn't, pushed it forward about 20 metres. Underneath it, Bruce, and he's been awarded the mark. So they need the quick reply, or this could get ugly here at AAMI Stadium. We heard Simon Goodwin at half-time saying he'd like a 10-goal victory. I think their best for the year's about 6. I mentioned before, they managed to let other sides get back into the game. They have control at the moment. Let's see what the D's can do. Loose ball, 50-50 ball. Armstrong working. In fact, it's Thompson working very hard. That's a good handball out to Nicholson. Back to McDonald under enormous pressure. Dispossessed. That was a great tackle. Now picked up by McLeod to Edwards. Loves to hold on to the football. The run provided by Massey. In fact, there's Crows running everywhere, but the kick was ordinary. Quick turnover. The D's should have a few loose players. Leoncelli by himself. Also out there is Nicholson. The ball goes in that direction, and they've spotted up the big fella. Too far out to score, one would suggest. Good run by Bruce. The kick, not that flash. Now the handball came out from Williams. Back to Cameron. Bruce lines up on a tight angle, and he's just missed. Well, a few turnovers there, Russell.
Well, it was a turnover. He had about, I reckon, about 7 or 8 blokes he could have hit with the footy. Unfortunately, it went wide instead of going up the corridor. But I'm not harping on this, but if they're to get back into this game, Neitz has got to go forward, and Nicholson's got to go on to Perry.
And Luke Williams feeling that from Rhett Biglands as the Crows bring it back into play. And Brett Burton, he has the proverbial paddock. Careful Sunday afternoon stroll. A couple of bounces. Nigel Smart on the wing. Now for Massey. Building. Back for Nigel Smart. Runs by Bizzle. Drives it long towards the goal square. 2-on-2. Getting back. John Cock. There is a whistle. Advantage. Play on. Another one to the Crows. John Cox kicked his second. It's been 3-0 in the opening 7 minutes of this third term, and that's the situation. 57 points, the Adelaide lead. Williams staying out there, but there's the Medicos in close proximity.
It was a great piece of play by Smart. Really ran the footy. And John Cock reading the best of the 4 or 5 players there was a great piece of play. Not only does he get the ball down forward, he works exceptionally hard as a forward to get numbers up back, particularly when they're coming out of defence.
Well, Brett Burton doing a lot of damage. Let's go down to Wayne Schwass.
Chris Lamb dislocated his finger out in the ground. The doctor went out, put it back in, but it's no good. He's come off and he's getting tended to on the bench at the moment.
Burton with 15 possessions, playing a great game for Adelaide after starting on the interchange bench. McLeod in there always gets a lot of the footy, averaging 23 disposals. This one's a wobbly one, inside 50. The target there was McGregor. Miller did well. Handball over the top there, searching for Walsh. Always keeps his body over the football. Good support provided by Whelan. Now the ball transferred to Bizzle. Bizzle in turn measures the kick, finds Thompson on the members' wing. Just by the interchange gates. Short little pass into Cameron Bruce, who's now playing on the wing, opposed to Burton. 12-7, plays 3-4. Adelaide have been pretty good. And this man has been one of the better players from limited opportunities for Melbourne, Brad Green. Has kicked 2-1. This would take his very best. Kicking from about 55 out, he would have to, but he centres the ball. 2 players there. That was loose by Adelaide. The mark taken by Walsh. Walsh plays on quickly. Johnston all by himself. Took the mark just inside 50. Will kick from about 53.
The physical pressure by the Adelaide blokes are really making them go wide. The wider you make the team go, that just shows you how much pressure the Adelaide boys at this particular stage are asserting on their Melbourne opponents.
Having a fairly quiet season, Travis Johnston. Possession number 5 would take his best kick. He has a real crack at it, and he has put it through for his first. Beautiful kick. Well, he needs to find a lot more of it, doesn't he, Russell?
Yeah, well, he's lived up to his expectations last year as #1 draft choice a few years ago. He had an exceptional year. Unfortunately, has been hampered by injury, and I think this is his 2nd or 3rd game back, Kim, so we've got to allow him a little bit of time to run into form, but just by looking at that kick, that was a magnificent kick off a virtually a standing start.
Travis Johnston with the goal. Another look at the dislocated finger in that incident there for Chris Lamb. 12-7, plays 4-4. Lamb getting the tape up. Crows fans getting involved. Hey, don't let them get a run on. Got one in a row. Jamar winning it down. Johnston onto it quickly. Tried the soccer off the ground, ineffective, but Melbourne win it anyway. McDonald tumbles one towards Uze. Timely fist provided by Stenglein, but Thompson for Travis Johnston. Can he get another one? 45 out, unloads, and he's got 2 in a minute. Travis Johnston might try and...
Could Roger Barnes of Hackham West please contact the Matchday office? Roger Barnes of Hackham West, please contact the Matchday office.
Time to run back into form, but his last couple of minutes has been very good. If they can continue to work at this rate, anything's possible.
Well, you said he needed time, Russell. He only needed 30 seconds to kick another one. You're a genius.
Another 30 seconds. Look, he's a very talented player, and if you can get it out to him, he's not going to let you down.
Well, they dragged the margin back to about 46 points, is it? 45, let's make that. Bigland's opposed to Jamar. That's been a good battle in itself. Bigland's won the tap. Edwards took it. In there, Heffernan. Clever little tap on. Out to McDonald, who's been good since coming on. Heffernan in there again. Met by a solid tackle there by Andrew McLeod. And there'll be a bounce down about 55 out from the Adelaide goal. 12-7 opposed to 5-4. Never easy here at AAMI, but the D's have done it before. They've had some very close victories here. One courtesy of Andrew Leoncelli, kicking a goal with seconds remaining. They've got a bit more work to do today, trailing by 45 points. Jamar again, front of the pack. Ball came down to Begley. Socket away from that player. 13 in there is Adam Uze. Now taken by Bickley to Edwards. Edwards in turn to Rashudo. Coming out at 100 miles an hour. Still trying to grab the football. Miller in there. Walsh with brute strength. Trying to keep it in the area. He didn't want to tap it out. The numbers weren't there. The crowd wanted holding the ball, but the umpire rightly has decided to bounce just inside 50.
He's great value, Rashudo, the way in which he just attacks the footy. He's absolutely no self-regard for himself. Could be a Mack truck coming towards him, he'd still go under it.
There's something, Clinton, and you know nearly everything, was voted Young Italian of the Year in South Australia back in 1994. There's one for your stats.
I'm going to write that down, Kim.
I'm sure you will. Begley has it. He wants to write down a goal. He's just outside 50, but he's offline. Through for a minor score. 80 plays 34 here at AAMI Stadium.
Melbourne have got a bit of a history of coming back against the odds. A couple of years ago last year against Brisbane, they were about 6 or 7 goals down halfway through the second quarter, got up one by about 4 or 5.
Russell, when they run, they are very good. I saw them at the MCG against Port Adelaide, and they were awesome. Mark Williams should have called a count. They had so many numbers at the fall of the ball.
Bizzle, one little chip to himself, and then, well, he picked a good option in terms of 4-on-1. They just can't quite control it. Now Whelan a chance. And now they can break it open through Travis Johnston. As Armstrong further down the line, swings it onto the logo. Bruce had it fist away by Burton. That was good. Laddams for Massey. Weaves by one, not the second. Melbourne with numbers again. Thompson for Armstrong. Terrific build-up. And Williams can finish it off for 3 in a row for Melbourne, but he's pushed it across the face for a behind. Oh, he holds his head, and why not? They've got a little bit of momentum up.
Yeah, when you've got your momentum up, that's when you've got to really make every score count for you on the scoreboard. It's okay running forward, but this is where they've got to do the hard work when they haven't got the footy.
Crows have been effective from the kick in, and they are again here as Burton receives it from Hart, and once more Brett Burton finding space across half back. Long towards McGregor on the outer wing. Under pressure, Miller did well. Thompson getting involved. Good vision, found McDonald, and he's been impressive. Leoncelli through the middle. Towards half forward. Green won't get there. Smart, a tough one for him. Running with the flight of the ball. Adelaide got a free advantage play on. Now Johncock, and the Crows can, in turn, rebound.
He's a crowd favourite for Adelaide supporters. Draws the player. The handball over the top to Welsh. Welsh well outside 50. Kicks it to the hot spot. McGregor, the target. Had a good battle with Miller. Rasciuto in there. Took the crumbs. Thrown to the ground, though. And we'll have a ball up about 20 out.
I'll get back to the other point. Nicholson could perfectly do exactly what needs to go up the ground and kick a few goals if they are going to get back into this game and have a sniff of winning it.
I agree with you 100%, Russell. And the theme all week from Melbourne was that they were going to be all-out attack. We'll keep an eye on that one. Stenglein in there, thrown into the ground. The ball outside 50. Good tackle by Cameron Bruce, and gets a pat on the head from his teammate there in young Stephen Armstrong. 80 plays 35. Just under 10 minutes remaining. Shirley warming up along the boundary line. Bickley playing in his 300th AFL game. Gets life membership. Got a wobbly kick away as well. Here's Burton, another kick. That is number 17. Having a big afternoon out. And high tackle there, was it? Not according to the umpire. Yes, it was. Free kick will go the way of the Sarge Perry. Well, he was red hot in the first 13 minutes of the game, Clinton. A little bit quiet since then.
Yes, and no question, I don't think, about the free kick. Sort of like the one on Brad Fisher yesterday at the MCG, which set up a Blues victory.
Well, he hasn't kicked a goal after kicking 4 in the first 13 minutes when he was opposed to Lamb. Neitz has been moved down there. He's kicked 1 point since. Lining up for his 5th goal. Distance will not be a problem. He's gone back on the Rodney Hogg run-up. He's gone back 55 metres. Will kick from about 35. He should. Very stilted approach, but a very accurate kick. He's kicked his 5th. And we will go back to the point, Russell, and I'm not sure your views, Clinton, but David Neitz, Coleman medalist from last year, such a powerhouse up forward, just seems wasted back there.
One kick for the game is his net return. No question he did the job when he went back on Ian Perry and shut him out, but now 51 points behind. It's all out attack, isn't it?
It is. He's just got to go forward. Nicholson can go back. That's where Nicholson built his reputation as being a stopper. That's all you need to do with Perry. Try and stop him getting the footy.
5 goals to Perry from his 10 possessions. Crows back out by 51 points. Back underway with a perfect bounce in the centre. And Jolly, well, it's tough for the D's to win a free kick today. 16 to 4. The free kick count against them. As Rhett Biglands is the man to hand the ball back to the umpire.
Stenglein's really put the screws on Uze in the last quarter and a bit. He's nowhere near as productive as he was.
Demon
really.
Rucks have done well, sharing that centre breaks. 9 apiece. Will stay in the centre with another bounce. Less than 9 minutes to travel in the third quarter. If you joined us late, it was the Crows early. 31 points at quarter time, 41 at half time. And they've kicked 4-2 in this third term as Adamuze gets involved in a little push and shove. Jolly now gets rid of Biglands well, but the hit out indirect. Stenglein to Perry. Getting on top of Neitz now. Maybe this time. Perry going along towards the hot spot at the top of the square. Rashudo's in front and he's got it. And the skipper will line it up to kick his third. Just looking too strong for Matthew Whelan when they isolated one out up forward.
Yeah, look, Rashudo is enormously talented and matched by his aggression and strength. He's a highly talented player, very aggressive, and Matthew is a fine player himself, but pound for pound, it's not that great a matchup. Look, that goal all resulted from that stoppages again. Around the ball at stoppages, the Crows are just so potent. The thing, the Melbourne boys don't pay enough of the Crows players respect. They stand off them, they zone off them, and if it goes their way, well and good. If it doesn't, this is what the result is.
Little hop and a skip from Mark Rashudo as he comes in and kicks his third goal. Crows snuff out any semblance of a Melbourne charge, extending the lead to 57 points as we're about to tick into time on in this third quarter. Live around Australia on Fox Footy, Clinton Grimes, Russell Green, Kim Dillon, Wayne Schwass with you, the best in AFL continuing on Fox Footy this week. John Worsfold with Mike, Robert and Jared on the couch on Monday night. And Russ, you'll be with me to take some viewers' calls on White Line Fever tomorrow night. We look forward to hearing from plenty of Melbourne supporters.
Mark Rashudo proving why he's a 5-time All-Australian, banging through his third goal. The Crows supporters starting to find a little bit of voice here at AAMI Stadium. 92 plays 35. Jamar, in fact, Jolly in there, and a free kick. Well, the ruck contest can be confusing. Umpire indicating it was a push. Jolly can't believe it. I'm a little bit bemused by that one as well. Biglands has had to work hard against the younger player in Jamar. Now he's got Jolly to contend with. Put it out wide to find Doughty. Burton's been very good. Possession number 18. Ran himself into a little bit of trouble. Has to use the left. Now kicks down there looking for Rashudo again. But this time standing his ground, Matthew Whelan. Front position. Best place to be.
It's a great comeback by Matthew then, really held his ground. A lot of courage.
Kicks it back towards the members. Bruce had the sit, applied the spoil. Tyson Edwards likes to hold on to the footy, loves doing it. Burton not sure which way to go. Back to Edwards, concedes about 10 or 15 metres to find Massey. Massey with plenty of time now, lifts the eyes. The target is Perry, and that's a strong mark. And Neitz made him earn it twice, 3 times. Burton comes in, Neitz not happy, getting a bit frustrated.
Well, David Neitz is as clearly frustrated as you can get, and there was no doubt in the world, Russell, he was going to give away 50 metres there. And, well, you want your skipper in times of crisis to lead you, don't you? And it was inevitable he was going to give away a 50 there.
There it is. It was a mark initially. And, look, this is quite obvious that Dave, look, you don't do that type of stuff. And, look, he's a great player. I mean, even that, you just got to show...
Do you bring him off?
Well... yes, I certainly would, because at this particular stage, the game's gone. I'd make an example, and then I would chuck him up to the forward line. He's clearly frustrated.
Well, he's given away a 50-metre penalty, and he's also given Ian Perry his 6th goal for the game. Big return for Ian Perry. That supersedes his best, which was 5 against the Kangaroos. And we'll keep an eye on the Demons runner, because the skipper is clearly frustrated. And gee, didn't he make Perry earn that one, as you would expect.
And maybe, in part, he's frustrated with his own teammates as well, and he's trying to spark them up, perhaps, Russ.
Well and good, but you just can't do the stuff like David's doing there. I mean, that's completely... and the second one that came over the shoulder, I mean, that could have gone anywhere later on in the week. But he's got to... I would have taken him off, have a yap to him, send him forward and take his aggression out, leading hard and direct at the footy.
The margin now over 10 goals.
Well, a little bit of heat perhaps coming into it. Reasons to stay with us as Stenglein sends it to John Cock. Dumped by Heffernan, good tackle. And a Melbourne free kick. Number 5 for the afternoon. McDonald will take it for being pushed in the back. To Travis Johnston, who's kicked a couple of goals in his third quarter. Towards half forward, Thompson was brought down. No whistle play on the call. Thompson brought down again. Crows to try and clear. Shirley for Laddams. Oh, clever kick around his body. A beauty for Hart. Adelaide rebound. Stenglein running to space on the outer wing. Perry there as well overruns it. Gets rid of Neitz. Stenglein out in front of Biglands. Made him work for it too much. Uze caught. Got boot the ball. Caught in a good tackle. Stenglein brought down by Darren Jolly. Good tackle. And we'll have a bounce between wing and half forward for the Crows.
At this stoppage now, every Melbourne bloke must have someone just touch their jump and feel some skin, because it's just, you have a look, there's 2 or 3 blokes clean by themselves on that.
Things not going the way of David Neitz, as we saw on the replay. We'll have another bounce here with Jolly and Biglands to contest. Andrew Leoncelli standing on the sidelines, about to make his way into the fray as soon as he can. 5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Neitz hearing it from the crowd. Who will break clear from this stoppage? Uze. Handball ineffective. McLeod's handball stolen by Johnston. Demons break clear. He's got some support with him. He can keep on going. Travis Johnston spears the pass to Green. And diving out, he's taken a wonderful mark. And how about that precision disposal by Travis Johnston?
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, to be able to do that, have vision, bringing the ball inside 50 from about 45, 50 metres away, and perfectly spotted, because Smart was right on his hammer. That was an absolutely magnificent kick.
It will be Uze who will come off for Leoncelli. There's that kick again from Johnston to Green in front of Nigel Smart. And the benefits of playing in front. Got some work to do with his left boot. He's doing up the laces now. The margin is 63 points. You've got an eye on the stats chart.
Well, the reason why I think Uze has come... Look, Adams an excellent player, but Stenglein has really done the job on him after quarter time. I think well into the third quarter, he's only had, say, 2 or 3 touches since quarter, or maybe 4 or 5 since quarter time. And that's not good enough for a non-baller of his calibre.
Jolly's come off. Jamar back on for Melbourne. Crowd with a slow hand clap. They don't like 63-point leads.
I think this is one area of our game where we can clean. I mean, taking so long to kick a goal. I mean, it's just something.
Put a time limit on them?
Well,
because there's a time limit anywhere else on the ground except for shots at goal.
I'd say 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Get back and have your kick.
Brad Green to do just that. Kicked 2 goals in the first half. Will kick from just beyond the 50. Gives it everything. Brad Green kicks his 3rd goal for Melbourne today. Demons get one back, but they've got an awful long way to go. That's their 6th for the afternoon. The margin's 57 points.
Magnificent kick from Green, but once again it was all set up by Travis Johnson, who has had his hand, or his kick to himself. Look, you could not get a better kick than that. Smart was right on his ginger. An absolutely tremendous kick.
So, some sort of spark perhaps for the Demons. Only the 3 goal kickers this afternoon. Green with 3, Johnston 2, and Russell Robertson kicked a goal in the second term.
The margin back to 57 points. Brad Green 3-1 for the afternoon. That was a magnificent pass by Travis Johnston. They don't get any better than that. They need to get a few in a row, though. The lights on here at AAMI Stadium. It's been pretty overcast for most of the afternoon. We had a bit of sunshine there for a quarter or so, and there he is again. Russell Green said he needed a bit of time. Well, he's warming up now. Beautiful evasive skills and a magnificent pass. And there he is, Russell. He's up forward.
Yeah, well, that's where we want him, because that's we want him to kick a few goals for the Melbourne boys. Nicholson is back in familiar territory where he plays well also. And hopefully he can channel his aggression, because he's obviously very frustrated at this particular stage. An excellent footballer, Coleman medalist. You don't get that by being an ordinary player. He can really show some example here by nailing this and try and kick another 3 or 4 in the last quarter.
He's kicked 35 for the season, and he's kicked his first goal for 2 weeks. He banged that one through the middle. The margin now the 51 points, so they've got to work on a bit of respectability. And who knows, a quarter to go, anything can happen. 98 plays 41, 47 I should say.
You talk about respectability there, Kim. That was the buzzword for Melbourne during the course of the week. The theme about regaining respect. Ray Ellis, their chief executive, wrote to all the members this week. He said the performance by your team on Queen's Birthday Monday was unacceptable and was an embarrassment for our club, and most importantly our Guernsey and the heritage and conviction it represents. Those words should be ringing in the players' ears now. Get back respect.
That's all. Look, at this particular stage, it's eight or nine goals, and that's the only thing they can really carry through in this last quarter. I'm sure Danaher, but once again, our boy Travis Johnson, Kim, that's his fourth. He's been involved in the last 4 goals.
Well, it has started. They've kicked the last 2. Big one's got a hand to it. Rashudo now back in the engine room for the Crows with a hurried kick forward to Laddams. Big one's caught. McDonald, good tackle. Chance for Walsh. Gets by a couple, does well. Goes straight down the middle towards half forward for Williams in front. Massey, good spoil. Williams still going. Has it trapped in by Hart. A bounce, 60 out from the Melbourne goal. Demons with 30 entries inside 50 to Adelaide's 34.
This is important. They've really got to man up, the Melbourne blokes here. Make sure they're accountable. I know it's up forward, but they just can't make the Crows run out back and feed it off.
McGregor took it from the ruck contest. Had to get rid of it therefore quickly. Hard under some pressure. Burton, McGregor, now Edwards. Out wide. They did that well, the Crows. This is Shirley. On the outer wing with Leoncelli lunging towards him. Kicking to space at half forward. Bizzle getting there first. Good pickup. Had little support. Laddams to keep it in. Down to 2.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Doughty's kick was knocked away by Armstrong. Jamar for Leoncelli, for Nicholson. McDonald needs sidestep. Bizzle under pressure. Godfrey needs clean hands. Was held up. Heffernan's gone. Did he have prior opportunity? Yes. Advantage play on. Gallagher to fall forward. Demons playing in front, and they might get out of danger here. Whelan getting it eventually after the initial work from Miller and Walsh, and now Melbourne have it on half-back with McDonald.
James McDonald with possession number 18, and it's a good one to find Nicholson. He goes short again. Leoncelli with the football. A little bit more urgency about Melbourne at the moment. Good pass into Cameron Bruce. So Bruce, centre field, 98 plays 47. Called to play on. Gets around his opponent in Hart. Just. It ends up with Heffernan from 55 out. He kicks it long. Neats his back there. Gee, plenty of carry on the football. And Neats wanting a free kick. Not getting one. It's gone the other way. Held. Nigel Smart picks up the free kick. The recipient of the free kick. Got it out towards James. Henschel. Young player in his second game, originally from the Northern Territory. Kicks it long to Johncock. Johncock will like to take off. He enjoys a run, draws the player, chanced his arm, got around too easy, McDonald. Kick off the side of the boot slightly. Bigland's down there, the ball forced over the line. Adelaide 15-9, Melbourne 7-5.
They get enormous run from their back line. That build-up started up back. The Melbourne forwards, you've got to make sure they've got blokes manning up when the ball comes out, because you can see what happens. 5 or 6 kicks and they're having a shot on goal.
Both sides with a lot of injury, but Adelaide still with a lot of experience out there, and Melbourne have a heap of youngsters. Armstrong 19. Gee, has he gone over the he's gone over the 10-metre line. So nothing going right for the Demons, but I say Miller 19, Jamar 19, they're just learning their craft.
But Jamar, I've been quite impressed by his performance. He played the first game of the year, he's played the last couple. I mean, I think he's a kid of the future. Got a big heart, works hard.
So just overstepping the line there, caught in the corridor of confusion and paid the penalty. They might get out of it though. Heffernan, heavy traffic. Rashudo did well. Now it went from Biglands to Henschel offline. Another point, 15-10. They've cracked the 3 figures. 100 Adelaide, Melbourne 7-5, 47.
Well, Clint Bizzle's going to have another go as Trent Henschel ponders what might have been, looking for his first goal in AFL footy.
He just changed his mind last time then. He was about to release the football.
Half a minute, the Demons to go the length of AAMI Stadium. 53 points the deficit, and Clint Bizzle, again, like the Labor caucus, caught in 2 minds. Bizzle going wide to the outer side, and Miller has it forced over the boundary line by Doughty with 24 seconds to play. Long third quarter, 24 seconds remaining up to the 32-minute mark on the time elapsed clock. Jamar winning it down. Godfrey almost trapped it in. Leoncelli in what may be the final act of this third stanza. Bounce. And I wonder what Neil Danaher will say to the troops with half an hour remaining, as just a test of strength there. With the Adelaide Crows well and truly in command, they kicked the first 4 goals of this third term. And after a brief Melbourne rally, they finished with a 53
Three-quarter time here at AAMI Stadium, and the Adelaide Crows stretching their lead out to 53 points. Goal scorers that quarter, Rashudo with 2, Laddams 1, Johncock 1 and Ian Perry 2. And for the Demons, Travis Johnston with 2 goals that quarter, Brad Green with 1, he's third, and David Neitz with a goal for the Demons.
Paul Simpson didn't expect this.
Okay.
But what happened next was totally unexpected.
Good afternoon. Welcome to AAMI.
Oh, you're a real person.
When you call AAMI, you'll speak to a real person, not a computer.
You're having fun, aren't you? Lucky you're with AAMI.
Hey, fellas.
New boots!
Yeah.
Mate, they're shockers.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know what work was. I'm sick of tying your laces, was she? Genuine vinyl? Nice! Don't get them dirty.
Been paid out lately? Keno easy pick, thanks, mate.
Keno. Win it by the minute.
Hey, Dino. Keno.
Police emergency.
I want to report my car being broken into. They got my Prodigy CDs and everything.
Has this just happened?
No.
A moment's thought before dialing can make a world of difference for you and others. Think first, then dial.
Come to Cabaret. Musical theatre does not get better than this. A sexy, dazzling and mesmerizing production, brilliantly reinvented by Oscar-winning director Sam Mendes. Are you ready? Be seduced by Cabaret at the Festival Theatre from June 17. Final tickets on sale now at Bass.
If you want in-depth footy coverage written by the experts, nothing matches the advertiser. Except, of course, all the news and analysis in the Sunday Mail. The Advertiser and Sunday Mail. No one gets you closer to the footy action.
And the Crows match day raffle winning number today is 05370. That's the winning match day raffle number 05370.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the big one. Our camera is going to pan around AAMI Stadium to pick up one lucky fan wearing the Overland visor, and that person is going to win 2 tickets to this year's AFL Grand Final, travelling in style to Melbourne aboard the Overland. Do whatever you can to get the attention of the camera, the super screen camera. Wave those visors. This is for the big one. And it looks like we've got our lucky winner. Congratulations, ma'am. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. She's off to the 2003 AFL Grand Final, travelling in style aboard the Overland. Once again, congratulations, and thank you to today's home match sponsor, the Overland. Enjoy the last quarter.
marks inside 50. That's the big difference.
Smart on Neats. Free kicks 19-5. That's what the Demon fans are looking at. Russ, it was the umpires who got us today. Final quarter, 53 points the margin.
Yes, Adelaide been in front from the opening bounce as the ball is now taken by Tyson Edwards. Wobbly kick forward, taken by Bruce. He hasn't been Melbourne's worst player, nor is this man Liancelli. Possession number 21 coming up for Andrew. Kicked it around his body. Robertson punched away there by Hart. Oh, that looked like a throw to me.
Yeah.
Play on advantage. No advantage. The ball will go back to Mark Rasciuto, now having a run on the ball after spending about a quarter and a half up forward. And that is possession number 21 for Rasciuto. Likewise for Brett Burton. On to Chris Laddams. Had a spell at Essendon, didn't crack it there. Now puts it inside 50. McLeod playing up forward. He'll create a few headaches. And one has started already.
Yeah, look, they have the luxury. If he is going to stay up forward and play up forward, he'd be an absolute minefield to watch because his evasion skills, his courage, his quickness on foot is just unequalled in the AFL.
And poor Matthew Whelan, you take it off Mark Rasciuto and you put on Andrew McLeod.
Yeah, but it's a compliment to Matthew
Oh,
Whelan.
no
You only put a boy
Yep.
of the calibre of Matthew Whelan. Look, he gives away a lot of weight and so forth, but he's got tremendous skills, a big heart, and he'll give everything. There's no doubt about that, and that's why he's been given that assignment.
Andrew McLeod, the leading goal kicker this year for the Adelaide Crows with 16, yet to slot one this afternoon. He likes to kick one, and he's put this one through. Adelaide extend their lead to 59 points. He is a superstar.
It's not a bad combination when you have the luxury of having Rasciuto up there. Now he's back in the middle, and you've got McLeod up forward. Now I'm sure we spoke about what Neil Danaher would have said to his boys, and Alan Jeans always used to say to us, if we were 10 or so goals up at Hawthorn in the old days, fill your boots, son. That means go and get as much as off the footy as you possibly can. Don't give them a sniff.
And you can't win the game, but surely you can try to win the quarter at least. And they are yet to win one here at AAMI.
Good point. Matthew Whelan and Andrew McLeod having a few words. 40,178 on hand. So another terrific home crowd for the Crows, particularly given the weather forecast in Adelaide today and the showers that we had earlier in the day. So in terms of home and away matches, it's the best crowd for some 5 years for a match between these two clubs. Burton had it knocked away. Demons charging onto it. Vardy knocked it away from the grasp of Godfrey, and David Neitz has given away a free kick. Nigel Smart will take it, some holding on. And David Neitz's frustrations continue with umpire Avon. Nigel Smart, rather surreal feel about it now. We've got the sunshine in one quarter of the ground. The lights are on over the top of the grandstand looking towards the city. It's as dark as you could possibly imagine. Crows, oblivious to that. Doughty, long to centre half forward. Wearing Perry well was Nicholson. Liancelli had to kick quickly, and without having the time to look up, Bickley had it knocked away, but has Bassett in support. Finds Rasciuto on half-back. And plenty of Crows numbers. Bickley, qualifying for AFL Life membership today, targets Perry. Nicholson's pushed him in the back and has given away another free kick. We won't harp on it, Russ, but that's 23-5, the free kick count.
Yeah, it's an enormous discrepancy, but they have been in front most of the day, the Crows, and that's when you're playing catch-up footy like that, that's when you give them away.
Reflective of that. Perry for Tawney, tumbles one to full forward. Biglands is in front. Whelan knocked it away from McLeod. Bizzle's caught. Handball for Whelan. Now they can work Miller for McDonald. Towards the outer side, and the lunging Nicholson takes the mark just inside the line.
19 possessions for James McDonald, been very good since coming off the bench. Put it out there, Rasciuto front position. Vardy's been very quiet, now taken by Thompson. Shows a little bit of poise, pushes it out to Robertson. He's had a tough afternoon opposed to Ben Hart. Now centres the ball nicely into Armstrong. Has a lot of pace. Which way is he going to go? Puts it out there looking for Neitz. Has to back. Gets onto the footy. Will be first there. Has two to beat. Tried to hook it around his body. And that is probably reflective of his afternoon and his sides. Only his third possession under a lot of pressure, and he has plonked that one out of bounds on the full. Wayne Schwass.
Yes, unfortunately it doesn't get any better for the Demons and their supporters. Chris Lamb with that finger has had it strapped up heavily. He won't take any further part. And unfortunately Luke Williams has had a recurrence of an old ankle injury. He's got the jacket on and he also won't play any further part in today's match.
Nathan Bassett with the football, had a great first term, having a pretty good season. Very solid, reliable defender. Put it out towards Biglands. Had a good battle, a good duel with J-Mar. I mean, had it right from the start. Jolly's only had a brief run. Loose ball evades everyone. Picked up by Burton, like McDonald. He started on the interchange bench, and they've both been good since coming on. John Cock in the 1-2. Has a bounce inside 50. Unselfish. Perhaps a little too unselfish. Put it over towards Laddams. Now it goes back to John Cock. He may be rewarded for his generosity. He is. Goal number 3. Graham Johncock, he is a crowd favourite and gets a nice pat on the head there. Was actually getting his hair rearranged, Russell.
Oh, look, he's a fine young player. He's going to have a huge future in this game of AFL footy. Look, very team orientated. You saw him then try and chip it across. He had 2 boys he could have hit. In a couple of years' time, I reckon he just would have gone bang and nailed it.
Just drifted it over the head of Andrew McLeod, but in the end, didn't really matter. 3rd goal for John Cock, 2-0 for the Crows, and he's happy.
And the positive thing too, I mean, he's been down in form. I think he actually started on the bench today, and it's great for his confidence to get back into winning form.
He did watch on from the bench for the opening part of the game. We'll have a second bounce in the centre, so any hope that Neil Danaher thought his team would come out with a spark to start this final term has been snuffed out by the goals to McLeod and John Cock. 65 points the margin. Question now, what will it be in about 20 minutes' time? Biglands winning it down. Melbourne a chance. Godfrey for McDonald. They'll get the centre clearance. Long ball towards Green. Has a couple to beat. Getting back Smart. Neats with a good tackle. And under pressure Smart. Does he find the boundary line? He does. Throw in half forward for the Demons.
34 years of age, Nigel Smart, and may go around again this year.
Unbelievable. He's been a tremendous player for many, many years.
And if he does that, Kim, he'll be within sight of 300 by the end of next season. He might think, well, don't pull up stumps just yet. Godfrey is caught by Doughty, shovels it towards Uze, and he paddles it back over the line, and we'll do it all again. You want to know where you're going to fit in the names Carey, Clark, Burns, Bode, Stevens, Goodwin and Marsh into this Adelaide team.
Yeah, and they're looking forward to the rest this week. And without a doubt, perhaps the player they've missed more than anyone is Mark Stevens.
He's a tremendous player.
Very courageous, and he's been a mild sensation since coming to the Adelaide Football Club.
The thing that you do have, it's a luxury you have all those blokes coming back in, because what it makes, that they have to earn their position to get back in there. And those blokes out there, they're not taking my spot, buddy.
Right.
I'm staying here.
Can you see 7 there that you would drop?
No, they all contribute.
Never easy for a coach, even when you're winning. Bickley has the football. Over to Biglands. Biglands in turn to Massey. Run provided by Hart, the 4-time All-Australian. Over to Tyson Edwards. 2 bounces. Make that 3, and he's going to have a shot from 55 metres. Contact not great, but he's found the teammate in Perry, who plays on quickly and all by himself is Henschel. So they're sharing it around, and the young fella may kick his first goal in AFL football. We'll make that his second.
They do run tremendously off their defensive 50. I won't mention the gentleman who didn't chase hard up the ground, but I think he knows who it is, and I think the runner has just come straight out to him, had a bit of a talk to him, and it's just so important that the forwards, they not only should they kick goals, but they've got to chase up the ground, put the pressure off their men running off them, because this is the result.
This will be his first goal in AFL football. If he can slot it through from only 20 metres out directly in front. Gee, gave it a fair ride. Oh. And he's missed it. Well, he tried to kick that one over the super screen, Russ.
He's still got time, though. He's got 20 minutes to get another one shot on goal. But it was good the way in which Perry fed the ball off. I mean, they're obviously very team-orientated, as we saw with John Cock before. They really do look for each other.
Trent Henschel, born on Christmas Day, 1982. Russell Green's words of kick through the ball. Just resonating through his mind there, and just kicked a little too much through it. Clint Bizzle, eyes darting left and right, going to take his life into his own hands as he goes short from McDonald. Adams quick to stand on the mark, just try and suffocate the life out of them as McDonald, good ball for Uze on halfback. Down the line, targets Robertson, got away from Massey for the time being. Lays off the handball to Bruce, under pressure, turnover. Massey's got it, runs into a steam train called Godfrey, who got him high. Massey to take the free. Goes to the centre corridor for McLeod. Has Bickley in support. Now for Bassett with the run out of defence. Calls for a Shepherd from Biglands. Got it, so he goes out wide, going via the cape here, the Crows. But when they've got a lead that big, they can do what they want as Hart goes short. Now Burton, too far out to score, drifts it in. Henschel's going to have another shot. And, well, his heart is in his mouth. He slips at the wrong time. And he'll be saying, boy, I just want that first goal. And
he does want it, doesn't he?
He does. There are the leading ball winners, Rashudo and Leoncelli with 23 touches apiece.
Well, he was certainly in the corridor of confusion there. Thought about playing on, then thought maybe I should have a shot. Then it was play on. It was all too late. Burton takes it, gets it back to Laddams. Now, he can kick a goal, but this time he squares it up beautifully to Michael Doughty, who perhaps is the most accurate kick in the Adelaide Crows lineup.
There's another thing I'm sure Airsy would have mentioned to his boys. I mean, so far in front, let's build on it, but let's not be selfish. Let's use the ball, feed it around, still run and chase and tackle and do all those discipline things, because they're the things they're going to have to be able to do if they are to beat Port Melbourne, if they are to beat the West Coast Eagles, if they are to beat Brisbane. So you really got to hone your skills and just don't go kick chasing.
Doughty, one of 6 players to play every game last year. He struggled to get his spot this season. Kicks from 46 metres and he is accurate. He doesn't miss too many, Michael Doughty, and that is his 15th career goal and his second for the season. Only made 5 appearances this year, so Adelaide continue on their merry way. They now have a 72-point advantage.
Plenty to talk about from this game, and right across the AFL for round 12, Gerard Healy, Robert Walls, Mike Sheehan will do that on the couch here on Fox Footy on Monday night. John Worsfold, coach of the Eagles, to join them after West Coast match against Brisbane. Doughty's first goal, giving the Crows a 72-point lead. Ben Hart's been rested. James Gallagher back on for Adelaide. Well, they might be eyeing a 3-figure margin in the end as Bickley to Doughty. Off to the races. Goes short into the pocket and with strong hands once more. Mark Rashudo will line up for goal number 4.
You mentioned at three-quarter time that they've taken 13 contested marks inside 50. And that's a huge... For a side to have that luxury of blokes taking marks like that, if you do take those marks, you have a really good chance of putting the pressure on the scoreboard.
Another change with Andrew McLeod in the background. You can hear the applause coming off. Robert Shirley running back on. And there is Andrew McLeod. We were worried shortly before half-time when he went to the rooms, but as we heard from Wayne Schwass, no long-term injury effects, which is good news. And now the skipper for goal number 4. Has kicked 17 for the season. And they're just adding further misery to Melbourne's day. A 4-goal-to-none quarter. And the lead is out to 13 goals.
It's not a bad ploy by Izzy. He's got Rashudo back up forward. He's taken off 2 of his best players, Hart and McLeod, just to give him a rest. I reckon Rashudo might be the next one to come off and have a spell.
That's a big lead, 78 points. It's going to be a big victory, and as I mentioned earlier, it's something Adelaide has failed to do on the previous few seasons, and that is to kill off a side, and they're doing it this afternoon, and that man has certainly been a big help. 4 goals straight, 24 disposals.
And got Bizzle on him now.
Yeah, well, Whelan's been removed. He's tried hard, Whelan, but it hasn't been his afternoon. Jolly in the ruck, opposed to Biglands. He's picked up his 6th hit out for this quarter. Burton in there's been very good, as we've mentioned. Tackled by Vardy, who's had a very quiet afternoon, only 5 possessions. One of their better players throughout this season has been Simon Godfrey. He's only managed 4 possessions, and David Neitz 3 possessions. So they've had some of their better players down this afternoon. Fist away by Jolly. Ball taken by Doughty, looking to get into the action. He knows there's players coming back into this Adelaide lineup in a couple of weeks' time. Good mark taken by Whelan. Clears to the outer side. Leoncelli has been the biggest ball winner for Melbourne this afternoon. This will be number 24. He gets it away quickly. Over there towards Vardy. Short kick, not a good one over the head of Johnson, who had a very good third term. Taken out of it there was Doughty. Play on advantage played. It goes over to the Birdman. He strolls to about 40 metres out, and he has kicked his third. Well, it's a training run now. Adelaide enjoying it. The party tricks are coming out. A massive lead now, 84 points, and the D's are on their knees.
Well, that was a great piece of play, and it all stemmed from Dowdy's attack on the footy. Both boys were running hard at the footy, but Dowdy, in my opinion, was the more committed. As you mentioned, he wants to be in the side after the break, and he's going to do it. And Ayresy just loves that type of stuff. Run hard and straight at the footy. Spillage ends up a goal. Great play by Dowdy.
And Brett Burton excited. He has kicked 3 goals, Brett Burton. Adelaide have won the quarter 5-1 to nothing. And Joe Goodnick wants to be in charge again, Russ. I'm not sure why. That story will no doubt continue to build. Crows go forward again. Begley, long ball to the goal square. McGregor! Mark of the day! He's going to kick another one and make it a 90-point lead.
Well, you had the crystal ball out, Clinton. I didn't think they could get to 100 points, and that was only about 90 seconds ago. But, gee, they're getting close.
Oh, I can't wait to see what the email this week is from Ray Ellis, the CEO of Melbourne, to his supporters. McGregor directly in front, hasn't kicked a goal today until now.
Well, Neil Danaher said last week they were rock bottom. What's beneath rock?
It's the journey to the centre of the earth.
I don't want to go there.
Look, it is an extremely difficult situation. All they can do is just, the next, I know we've been saying it most of the afternoon, just got to try and work as hard as they possibly can. The luxury of having McGregor, he can play up back and do a job and go forward. The times he has, last week he kicked 2 goals against Hawthorn, did very well when he went forward. But they're just, the floodgates are wide open at the moment.
And McGregor hasn't been Adelaide's best player, he hasn't been their worst, but I'll tell you what, his opponent Brad Miller has done a pretty good job when you consider the amount of times the ball has gone into Adelaide's attacking zone. Back centre field, Bigland's opposed to Jolly. The ball goes out to McDonald, wrapped up in a tackle. Tell you what, Adelaide are hungry now. They all want a taste. They all want a little bit of the football as Liancelli just gives a quick one into the ribs there of John Cock. Now a bit of push and shove between Thompson and Massey. Umpire does the right thing, just throws the ball up. Taken by Edwards, bails out with a left-handed handball to Burton. Trying to shrug the tackle, eventually got a handball out. Held it for too long though. Free kick will go the way of James McDonald. Plays on with a handball out to Uze. The applause there is for Mark Rasciuto leaving the ground. He's had a fair afternoon, 24 possessions and 4 goals. The action back on the outer side, and it is with Armstrong.
It's not a bad bench, is it? Rasciuto, Hart, and McLeod just sitting there.
Just rubbing it in, isn't it? There's the kick inside 50. Green, casual mark, a good mark on the chest, and he will line up now for his 4th goal. He's been a damaging forward, but he's just hasn't had enough opportunities.
Just been restricted by, and the manner in which the ball has come in. A lot of his marks, they haven't been out in front because he's had to really clamp it to try and get down and take the mark. He's an exceptionally talented player, and he's shining like that up forward this afternoon. Hopefully he can kick the goal and just get a little bit of impetus for the Melbourne boys.
Well, yes, they can drag it back to 84 points, Russ. Not sure if that's impetus, but I tell you what, you hang in there. You've got to be admired for that. But they've let you down today, the D's. Green's a beautiful kick. Something about left footers. He's kicked his 4th. Russell Green 4-1 this afternoon from limited opportunities. He's had 10 possessions, and you've given them every chance today, Russell, but they haven't delivered.
No, they haven't delivered the start. Look, what Danaher and his crew will have to do after the game is sit down and say, have a look at these positives when the pressure is really on. In that second quarter, until there's a few lazy kicks in by John. No, there were some positives, and they're the things they've got to build on. I know exactly how they feel, man. They've just got to hang together, hang tight, and be as close as they possibly can.
Brad Green with 4 of Melbourne's 8 goals for the afternoon. 84 points the difference. About to tick into time on, but there's still plenty of playing time remaining. Nearly 9 minutes. Liancelli with a hurried kick forward. Burton tracking it the wrong way for the Crows to the outer wing, where John Cock and Smart will converge on it. Smart peels off. John Cock takes the footy and handballs it to Tawney, and he can steady now and just drop it off short, and Bigons takes the mark in front of Jolly. He'll wait for a runner. Bickley stabs the kick to half forward for Massey. 137 plays 53 as Massey sends it long to full forward. Neitz has taken himself back there for Melbourne with this deluge of Crow goals. Uze for Travis Johnston, who provided the spark for a period in the third term, has tailed off since then, has just 10 possessions for the match as he kicks towards half-back on the members' wing, and a good mark taken by Cameron Bruce.
I think he's tried hard.
Exceptionally hard.
This will be his 15th possession, has 10 marks as he goes to Whelan. Long hand pass to Jolly. He'll keep on running, Whelan. Takes possession, goes long towards Green with a couple to beat. Bassett with the spoil. Good pick up by Walsh. He'll steady, and from 45, kick a goal for the Demons.
Well, that's 2 in a row.
And they're back within 78 points.
Okay, well, they're rallying. They've kicked the last 2. Look, as you said, Clinton, there's 6 or 7, maybe 8 minutes left. If they can kick three or four more quick ones, and give them a lot of confidence going into the break.
How will their supporters respond on White Line Fever tomorrow night on Fox Footy when they call us?
They will be absolutely savage. I've got quite a few mates who are Melbourne supporters, and they go home at half time with about 3 points down. So, but you've got your supporters, you've got to stick with your boys.
Peter Walsh kicked his first, the margin back to 78 points. Adelaide situation very healthy on the scoreboard. Tapped down by Biglands, taken by McDonald, kicked around his body. Forward there is Robertson, couldn't take it. In there, Bruce again, beautiful for his 16th possession. Robertson, wobbly kick forward. The ball out of play in the right forward pocket. 7 minutes remaining, and I suppose the best result for Melbourne would be to try and drag it under 10 goals. But it's still going to look fairly unattractive on the scoreboard at the end of the day. They trailed by 31 at quarter time, 41 at half time, 53 at three-quarter time, and now the margin out to 78 points. But it was worse. He did get to 90. Ball back into play. Robertson over the top. Or was that McDonald? Didn't matter. Ball not cleared effectively for Melbourne. It came out to Massey, now to Johncock, another player who started on the interchange bench for Adelaide. Drew the player, not a good handball. Nearly some clever work by Doughty. He's wrapped up. He'll have to tap it out. Picked up, stolen. Well, that was larceny at its best. Johncock out the back door to Massey. Has support there by Bickley. Ignored the former skipper. Put it up to the veteran in Smart. He gives it to his old teammate. Started at South Adelaide, Smart and Bickley. Now it's inside 50. And there's another grab by the Birdman. Well, he's found a little bit of form after a frustrating season due to injury. Missed about 7 or 8 due to an ankle injury. Will now line up for his 4th goal of the afternoon. And he took that mark in front of a former teammate in Peter Vardy. He's had a pretty untidy day at work.
He's not Robinson Crusoe. There's a few
no,
out
he's
there.
not. He's not. But, oh, there's ball out wide. Trying to share it around a little bit now. Nige mustn't have one for the day. He hasn't. Burton not the longest kick in the Adelaide lineup. And he knew that, so he spears out a pass looking for Perry, but standing his ground there. That is a good mark by Godfrey. Plenty of courage, this man. Puts it out wide to Vardy. Let's see if he can find a teammate. Set up an Adelaide goal 5 minutes ago when he was looking for his teammate in Johnston. Now puts it out wide to Heffernan. 6 minutes remaining in this game. Melbourne will be happy when it's over. Thompson takes the mark. Moving it forward slowly. Just haven't had the run that we're accustomed to seeing from the Melbourne Football Club. Mopped up there by Kenny McGregor, taken by Johncock, out to Tawney. It's been a good recruit for the Adelaide Football Club, and 7th in the best and fairest for Richmond last year. Johncock again, another possession. This time it went to Begley, Begley to McGregor, to Nigel Smart, outside 50. He can kick a long ball, but he goes for Perry. I'm not sure what he went for then at the end. I think he was looking for a lead, and Nige, just a wry grin and a shake of the head.
Good news is he won't be dragged because some of the guns down there, McLeod, Rashudo, Hart already resting as Alistair Nicholson prepares to bring it back into play with 5.5 minutes of agony for Demon supporters remaining. Neitz is in front, couldn't drag it down. Laddams for Gallagher, for Edwards. Going short inside the 50. Perry's on the lead and will line up for number 7.
Well, he's somewhat of an enigma, Ian Perry. You just never know what he's going to produce on a given day.
And when he fires, I think we saw it in the Wizard Cup, a forward line of Perry, Stevens and Carey That is potency at its finest.
Can you have all three playing together, though?
Well, it worked early. They were winning games early.
It presents so many matchup problems for opposition defences, needing some...
Because the best defender's
Tall,
obviously going to take Carey.
Yep.
But Stevens is the most potent of the three up forward.
And then a man like Ian Perry is lining up now for 7 goals. And to try and kick the 22nd for the team for the afternoon. He's hooked the kick badly, and it's one behind. 21-12, plays 9 goals, 5 for the 3rd week in a row. The Demons are going to lose by more than 9 goals.
Just over 4 minutes remaining in this final term. The lights have been on here at AAMI Stadium for some time. Bizzle kicks it to himself again, then has to get around Biglands. Did that okay. Kicks it long. Heffernan, the target, takes an uncontested mark. Good work by Whelan just to get in his way. Kicked around his body. That wasn't so good. And the ball socket over the boundary line. So they turn that one over as well. Umpire indicates time to throw the ball in. Umpires officiating today: Hayden Kennedy, Justin Schmidt and Michael Avon. Adelaide's faithful, still urging on their charges. Ball comes down to Armstrong. Melbourne's best first-year player last season to Godfrey. On the left boot, kicks it long underneath at Henschel, now playing at centre-half back. Loose ball comes out towards Massey, just goes about his work. In a quiet fashion, Henschel around his body. They've got him away from the goal, so he won't kick his first this afternoon after getting a little bit of stage fright earlier this term. But I'm sure he will kick one. They're big raps on him. Plays for the Woodville West Torrens Football Club here in the SANFL, originally from the Northern Territory. Only 20 years of age. Jolly to do the ruck work. Won the tap comprehensively. Out to McDonald. Slapped it back to Armstrong. Good peripheral vision. Now the kick comes out to Heffernan. Loose player there in Vardy. Oh, just got it over that player. I think he'll get there eventually. Picks it up. Has one player to beat. That is Tawney. Kicks it around his body. Bruce is there opposed to John Cock. Now he doesn't want to take possession. Tries to paddle it through his legs. Needed some support. There was none there. Too many Adelaide players. And away they go. That's been the story of the afternoon. Doughty out towards Smart. Gary Ayres is a cruel man. He's left the 34-year-old on in Smart and the 33-year-old in Bickley. Taken by Gallagher. Wobbly old pass. Now it's the D's with the numbers as Bizzle picks it up and puts it over to Walsh.
He gives it to Leoncelli. Demons to try and get a couple of late ones perhaps. Now Jolly at half-back out of side for McDonald, who's seen plenty of the football today. 25 possessions now. Leoncelli leading the way with his 27th possession there as he kicks to the outer wing. And Scott Thompson getting in front of Massey to take the mark. The hand pass for Jolly. They've built up some numbers here with this attack, but it's going to pay off because Bizzle's found Walsh. He's got some room. 60 metres out, long to the forward pocket. Bruce is in front and he's got the mark. And will line up for the Demons' 10th goal from left half forward.
It's a perfect kick, perfectly weighted. Bruce leading out. He's got excellent hands.
And the Demons may kick the last 3 goals of the game. They've booted the last 2 at this stage, and John Cock caught a step behind Bruce early on the lead, and made him earn it. There's Cameron Bruce with a strong mark. Yet to kick a goal today. Booted 20 last season, was runner-up in their best and fairest. Has kicked just 6 so far in 2003. Try and add some respectability late for the Demons. He bends it back enough, and they've kicked 3 goals in a row. If we play until Wednesday, it might be a ball game.
There's a couple of minutes to go, and hopefully they can score another 1 or 2. But at this particular stage, the Adelaide boys have probably, well, we've done enough. And
I think we've wrapped them up.
We've wrapped them up.
Yeah. They have been awesome, haven't they?
They are. The way in which they build it up from up back, and the thing is, they rarely turn the ball over. They rarely turn it over. So that's one of their greatest acquisitions.
Adelaide by 73 points. Nigel Smart up on the wing now, opposed to David Neitz. Trying to work out, Russell, what the crowd's getting excited about.
Wayne Schloss just waving to them, I think.
He's always been a cult figure and a hero to many. And why wouldn't he be? What a player he's been. Back with the action. 138 plays 65. Biglands won the tap. It went down to McDonald. Good support provided by Uze. He's tried very hard throughout the course of this match. The handball in turn to Thompson. Wrong foots his opponent. Back to Whelan. Whelan with another short pass here. They're playing very short at the moment. Over to Heffernan. This may come unstuck. Thompson Lost it. Now to Gallagher, who normally uses the football exceptionally well. Does so again to Laddams. Puts it out wide to the run provided by Bickley. Bickley in turn thought about a handball. Ignores that option. Having a good look. McGregor will be the target. The ball goes in that direction. Kenny sets himself. Jolly stands tall. That's because he is tall and takes a strong mark. Just over a minute remaining.
Well, I'm glad he did mark it, because if he didn't, well, the discipline thing would have been to punch the footy. But he backed himself. Lived by the sword, he died by the sword.
Yeah, read the situation perfectly. Came 3 deep. Knew he had the sit on everyone. McDonald with another possession. This will be number 27, which will equal Andrew Leoncelli, who's also had 27. Bizzle's had 19. A lot of those from the kick-outs, though, when he's played onto himself. It's one way to rack up the stats. Now the ball fisted down to the boundary. Burton in there. Clever work. Paddles it back. Leoncelli there. The bottom of the pack, it looked like Doughty. Thompson. Henschel. Was he leg? Yes, he was, according to umpire Justin Schmidt. So the free kick will go to the young fella, and he'll drive Adelaide into attack for perhaps the last time in this game here at AAMI Stadium. Well, he's found a little bit of the football. 7th possession. A bit better than his debut against the Sydney Swans in round 3 or 4. Bizzle in there again. Tried to find Vardy. McGregor to Burton. Burton over the top, close to the boundary line. Gallagher kicks it around his body, and the mark's been taken by Miller. He's tried pretty hard this afternoon, opposed to McGregor. Clinton, take it home.
Thanks, Kim. So much to talk about, isn't there? As the Demons bring it to Leoncelli. And in front of more than 40,000, the Crows reached the week's break in 7th place on the AFL table with a 7-win 5-loss record.
We're the pride of South Australia, and we're known as the Adelaide Crows. We're courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation, our determination shows. We're the pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
Sammy in here for 5 AAFL. I've got Brett Burton with me. Brett, congratulations, and a pretty convincing win heading into the break this weekend.
Yeah, it was a great effort by the boys today. We knew we had to stand up after a couple of losses, and it's always good going on the break with a win.
Did you expect such an easy game from the Demons this week during the build-up?
Oh, definitely not. They've been under the pump, obviously, in the media the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it was a similar game to Hawthorn last week, and we didn't stand up last week, so we made a big emphasis of it this week.
And just finally, plenty of touches for yourself and some goals. Good to be getting some more of the footy again.
Yeah, look, it's just good to be back. I've been out for over 2 months, so I'm just glad to help the team out today.
Mate, well done. Go and enjoy the win.
Cheers, mate.
Everybody, Brett Burton, a big hand for him, please.
We're the pride of South Australia, and we're known as the Adelaide Crows. We're courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation, our determination nation shows. We're the pride of South Australia, where the mighty Adelaide Crows.
If you want in-depth footy coverage written by the experts, nothing matches the advertiser. Except, of course, all the news and analysis in the Sunday Mail. The Advertiser and Sunday Mail. No one gets you closer to the footy action.
Just a reminder that the Crow Shed is now open. Gold and junior members have free entry. There's also a live band and player interviews. So make sure you make your way down to the Crow Shed that's now open. So there we have the Adelaide Crows singing their song in the...
The legends of golf hit the links for the US Senior Open. Keep up to the minute on all the happenings in the world of sports with ESPN Sports Centre. Great action this June on ESPN. Well, the San Antonio Spurs are not ready to concede that there's going to be a Game 7. It's a 7-0 run right now that has cut the Nets' lead down to just 2. Mark Brown along with Rick Weitzman in an entertaining game number 6. And while we've got a moment, a reminder, Spanish football presented by Goodyear. That's coming up. Check your local listings. That for our Latin American audience, Valencia versus Barcelona, Athletic Bilbao versus Deportivo. Not known at their normal times, so check your area for Spanish football presented by Goodyear. Meanwhile, back to Game 6 of the NBA Finals, where the Nets are clinging to a 2-point lead and trying to force a 7th and decisive game. 30 blocks for Tim Duncan in this series. That ties the NBA Finals record set by Patrick Ewing.
How about those numbers for Duncan? 20 points, 17 rebounds, 6 blocks, and what was it, 8 assists?
8 assists, yeah.
Wow.
And one note on that, Patrick Ewing, 30 blocks. That happened in a 7-game series in '94. This is only game 6. So Duncan obviously blocking more per game. An average of 5 per game and still 7 minutes to play.
So there we have it, both sides out on the ground getting ready for today's game here at AAMI Stadium. The first siren about to start in around 7 minutes' time, and we'll be back with more action shortly.
Who supported the State Hospitals Fund to the tune of over $1 billion? It's not just the winners who win with SA Lotteries.
Police emergency?
Yeah, oh look, I've had most of my bike stolen.
Most of it?
Yeah, well, everything except the front wheel and security chain.
A moment's thought before dialing can make a world of difference for you and others. Think first, then dial.
Come to Cabaret. Musical theatre does not get better than this. A sexy, dazzling and mesmerizing production, brilliantly reinvented by Oscar-winning director Sam Mendes. Are you ready? Be seduced by Cabaret at the Festival Theatre from June 17. Final tickets on sale now at Bass.
Saturday the 12th of July is the date for the biggest night on the Crows social calendar, the gala auction and dinner dance. To be held at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, the night will feature some great items up for grabs in a major and silent auction, wine wall and great entertainment by Jungle Juice. As always, Crows players will be there as guests enjoy a 3-course meal, West End beers, Hardy Wine Company wines and Coca-Cola soft drinks. Tickets are $85 each, can be bought direct from the club by calling 8440 6666. That number again, 8440 6666. Remember that sound. Thanks once again to the Overland for sponsoring today's match. And remember to keep wearing your Overland visors for your chance to win another great prize at quarter time and the big one at 3/4 time today. Enjoy today's match between the Adelaide Crows and Melbourne.
Welcome back. The Adelaide Crows, Mark Stevens joining me up here for a bit of a chat. Mark's been out injured, but hopefully we'll be back shortly. You got the week off. Hoping to get back into it after that, Mark?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I've missed 7 games now, so really can't wait to get back out there.
How's it feel watching the guys out there doing the warm-up? Obviously, you'd love to be out there. Did you get much support from the players with when you're out injured? How do the players react?
You're fairly separated from them. You spend a lot of time doing rehab away from the players, so you do miss a bit of that contact, but yeah, I'd love to be playing.
We're just going to take a look at a half-time score. This is up at the Gabba. This match is in progress. The end of the second quarter. And West Coast with an 8-goal lead over the Brisbane Lions up at the Gabba. And there is another match also in progress today. This is at the MCG during the first quarter. And scores dead level there between Hawthorn and Collingwood. The Magpies 1-6-12 to year-old Jace Kelly from Whyalla. And David Neitz winning the toss there for the Demons and will be kicking to the Advertiser Sunday Mail super screen end of AAMI Stadium.
The 45,000 mark. Massey on green. Nicholson alongside of Perry. Demons to the left, Crows to the right. Underway around Australia, and Biglands and Jamar, a lot to look forward to in that battle. Bickley. Wrestled out of it there by Thompson, who's starting well. Be keen to play well here. Knows a bit about South Australian footy, coming from the Port Magpies originally. Now Rashudo towards centre half forward, and Green chopping back in front of Henshaw.
It looks as though Godfrey is running for Rashudo, or maybe even Bickley at this stage.
Bizzle got the handball over towards... Well, Bizzle got the kick forward. Now it's on the outer side. They go forward through Walsh. Walsh inside 50 for the first time. Needs a diving attempt. Well, Nigel Smart certainly picked him up, and he'll go across ground now. Has a loose player there in Hart. Decides to go over the head of that player, and looking there for Tawney. Tawney might be on Johnston. We'll have a look at that. Clever little flick up there towards Rashudo. Sun's pretty bad here, and underneath it was Begley. Begley went without of it, and Walsh took him out. Now he picks up the football. Intercepting it there is Johnston. Thrown to the ground, and umpire blows the whistle, and we'll have a bounce.
The interesting aspect so far of this game, every tackle that's been laid, I know it's only early days, but there's always been 2 or 3 Melbourne jumpers around the ball, which is a good sign.
We had a look at them in the rooms before the game, Russ, and there was a good bond about them today, as though they're really going to give a pretty good account for themselves. Now, the Crows have won a free kick. Michael Avon with Justin Schmidt and Hayden Kennedy, the umpires, and Rashudo's going to win it. Has a loose man in the middle and hurries it to him. That's Gallagher. This is a good build-up. Has Tawney in support. Is going to go longer. towards the pocket. It's a pretty good kick for Perry, who got a few metres on Nicholson, and he'll have the first shot at goal for the afternoon.
You just can't afford to give a forward a couple of metres start, because if the ball coming in is low and direct like that, it's pretty hard to stop.
Here's that free kick again. Rashudo caught high. A little bit of an undisciplined act by Godfrey, and then Gallagher, good vision, delivering to the lead of Perry, who's kicked just the 9 goals this season from his 10 matches, 3 of those in the opening round against the Dockers. From the outer side of the ground, we're behind the kick, and it's good enough. Crows get the opening goal. It's a positive start for them.
It is a positive start because, as I mentioned before, the Melbourne boys are really throwing themselves at the footy, and particularly the bloke with the footy, and it is a good start. You really like to get on the scoreboard early, build on that type of thing. It's great for the Crows.
So Perry with his 10th goal of the season, and Gallagher setting that up nicely, the smallest player on the ground. Well, it took just under 3 minutes. Adelaide on the board. And a big job for Rhett Biglands today against the 2 tools for Melbourne in Jamar and Jolly. Biglands, well, he went late. Jamar used his leg beautifully. At ground level, they're both having a crack at it. It's a 50-50 ball. Robertson got it out. Now back towards Hart. Hart in turn to Rashudo. Kicks it up to centre half forward. Underneath it was Begley. Good tackle applied there. That was on Williams. Umpire blows the whistle. Crowd appreciates that. We'll have another bounce, about 65 out.
Positive signs for the Crows. I think that's Bickley's 3rd or 4th possession so far, and that's a great start for him.
Begley's been good since coming across from St Kilda and making his debut a few weeks ago. Rashudo in there, the 5-time All-Australian, tried to get it to Stengline. Crows happy to have him back. Rashudo again, just on 50. Kicks it up towards the head of the square. Players fly, it's close. In there was Henschel off the ground. Perry,
how important the player is for the side. I'm sure that's his 5th or 6th possession in only 4 or 5 minutes, and he once again was responsible for getting that ball forward down to Perry to score his 2nd goal.
What a start for the Adelaide Crows. Ominous signs indeed for the Demons. Chris Lamb with something to think about early. Gone not yet 5 minutes, and already it's all Adelaide. Biglands and Jamar back in the centre. Neither on the first attempt. Stengline goes without it. This is Uze. Shovels it back for Bizzle. Out wide in front of Walsh, who can run onto this. Has Johnston in support to provide the shepherd or take the hand pass. He thought about either. Walsh goes down the line towards half forward. Sprawling effort from Miller unsuccessful, and now Edwards can set the Crows up from half back. Kicks to a 1-on-2 on the outer wing. Welsh had to go the spoil. Johnston. Good recovery. Jamar has to be quick. High ball without really checking his options. Edwards, though, had to wait underneath it. Heffernan the knock-on. Free kick for a throw, and it will go to the Crows' way on half back.
Ben Hart, what a tremendous player he's been for the Adelaide Football Club, always cool in a crisis. Over towards Massey, the former Carlton player, puts it out for Stengline. Some have touted this man as a future captain of the club. Over to Smart, the 34-year-old, the oldest player out there at AAMI Stadium today, and a free kick's been picked out, and it will go the way of Ken McGregor. Plays on quickly to Rashudo, puts it out towards the right forward pocket. Perry was the target again, and the D's happy to take that one over the boundary line.
Something's got to be done about Rashudo. That's now, I think, his 6th or 7th touch very early on the game. It's only been going 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, Nicholson looks like he's lined up on McGregor. Lamb is back on Perry, as we mentioned. And Biglands opposed to Jamar. Throw in that right forward pocket. Biglands used his strength, got it down. Johnston was there. Trying to steal it was Laddams. He's wrapped up in a tackle, and we'll have a bounce down about 40 metres out. Conditions pretty good. Had a lot of rain earlier this morning. Good game of football. Adelaide desperate to win, to stay in touch with the top 4, and the D's, well, they're just desperate to have a win. Bit of pretty lean years thus far. Biglands won the tap. Was a nice one out to the magic man in McLeod. He went for goal. Round it goes, close to the boundary line and taken over the line. And Russell, I think he did go for goal then. He didn't try and centre that one.
No, I think you're dead right, Kim. I think he had a shot at, look, why wouldn't he? Such a talented player. I mean, you've got Matthew Whelan actually running with McLeod. He's going to have a very busy afternoon.
He has got the licence. Boundary throw in, Crows in attack. McLeod being harassed that time by Whelan. Godfrey. Welsh to try and tie it in. Bizzle, Jamar, risky. Leoncelli, caught. Crows, chance. Welsh, Biglands, couldn't quite control it. Does well to Perry from McGregor. Kicked smothered well by the Demon defence. Holding up under enormous pressure early. And Johnston finds the boundary line for a throw in. Well, they're under siege right now, the Demon defence.
The Crows are really putting some pressure on the boys, and this is where they're very, very dangerous here in this situation. Inside 50, the Crows are very dangerous.
Jamar works his way in front, takes it now, does well, gets the clearing kick. It's a momentary relief for the defence. Tawney tumbling backwards on the logo. Takes the mark and they'll bang it forward once more. Short pass effective for Bassett. All bar two players in Adelaide's attacking half. Edwards against the breeze, 50 out. Stops. High ball to the top of the square. Perry getting back. Ball knocked down. Gallagher goes without it. Still a chance, Gallagher. Williams, Nicholson. Gee, they're under enormous pressure. Rashudo charging through. Can the Demon defence withstand this? Heffernan to Williams. And they'll find some more momentary relief as they force a boundary throw in. But boy, Russell, this is not good signs for the Demons.
It's not. It's only very early days though, but they would have been very disappointed with their performance last week, Crows, being beaten by Hawthorn, and they've really come out here and making a statement at this particular stage, particularly their senior players.
The D said they'd play a more running and flowing game, but gee, they're flooding back at the moment because they are under enormous pressure. Leoncelli at the bottom of the pack, wrapped up in a tackle by Rashudo and Edwards and thrown to the ground. Umpire blows the whistle, will have a ball up.
What they have to do is not panic, the Melbourne boys. They've just got to become accountable, man up, all over the ground, and just weather this storm, because at this particular stage it is a storm.
Just over 13 minutes remaining in the first term here at AAMI Stadium. Biglands won the tap, went down to Leoncelli. Little 15-metre kick along the ground. McLeod, quick but not quick enough. Couldn't get the handle out, but he was held when not in possession. Looks like Whelan's got the job of running with McLeod. McLeod looking to change tack. He puts it in the middle of the ground. Bassett has drifted down again. Bassett opposed to Miller. Miller playing up forward. Tawney, who turns 26 tomorrow, kicks it inside 50. Perry all by himself in the side, as he's affectionately known, takes a strong mark. And incredibly, he'll be lining up for his third. He's almost got a patent on the old helicopter kicks when he shoots for goal.
Just getting back to that point we mentioned before, it's just so important when the Crows have got the footy. They're so deadly, particularly a bloke like McLeod. When he's got the footy, got a free kick. The Adelaide boys just took up the ground, and look, you just got to run with them and put enormous pressure on them, because if you don't, and as we see here, Perry's lining up for his third goal.
Adelaide have kicked two straight, courtesy of Ian Perry. Had a quiet one last week against the Hawks when Adelaide went down by 5 points. He was very good against Geelong the week before that. He's kicking from about 40 metres out, very deliberate, if not stilted approach, but he's put it through the middle and he's kicked his